Hello, Tall James. What do you think will happen between Spurs and Arsenal tomorrow before we hear from the respective coaches?
Well, okay, easy one to start. Look, I mean, I think it's obviously a very competitive game in that I think had Arsenal not suffered the injuries that they had during the international break and before it, I think they would have been clear favourites for this game. But I think losing Odegaard is I mean, Arteta sort of playing coy about whether he's going to be fit or not. All the noises we're hearing are that he's not going to be available for that game. So I think that's a significant blow for them because he's the kind of player that they can't really replace. You could argue Bukayo Saka, William Saliba maybe slightly more important. But I just think Odegaard knits it all together in a way that they don't have another player who can do that, particularly when they've sold Emil Smith-Rowe, probably would have been a logical replacement. And also Fabio Vieira's out on loan, is another one who could have come into that central position. So I think it maybe just slightly tilts the balance more 50-50 than it being in Arsenal's favour. But I mean, I'm going to sit on the fence here and say it's a draw. That's going to be my prediction at the end of this. But I would have had Arsenal to win this game had they not suffered those injuries. And obviously the Declan Rice suspension is another big issue for them in midfield.
Sure. Plenty to talk about in this game. Of course, it's Sunday, not Saturday. Southampton Man United's the early game on Saturday. So let's hear what Ange Postecoglou and Mikel Arteta have been talking about to James before this one.
I'm really happy, really excitement. I think it shows the alignment between the club and myself and the coaching staff, that we are in this journey together, that we enjoy working together, that we have much higher ambitions, that we want to fulfill them. So that's the way that I look at it, and as I said, really pleased and grateful as well.
Yeah, I think consistency in approach and mentality. I think you've seen them in the last 2 years, in particular, that they've just had a real relentlessness about them. They haven't had to change their team too much. They've been, there's a solid core there that have sort of carried them through the last 2 years, and I think that gives you belief over time. So I think in every game they feel like they can win. I think they have this confidence in themselves now that they can challenge over a course of a Premier League season, which, I think that more than anything else, allows you to kind of build momentum season to season when you can do it over a whole course of a season. They have the last 2 years. Their form over the last 2 years in totality has been outstanding. So they're going to be a tough nut to crack, but a great opportunity for us to do that.
We need some more tests, so let's see what happens in the next day or so, this afternoon probably, and see what happens, what is the extent of the injury, and how quickly we can get him back. He's super positive about everything. We know Martin, he wants to be there every single day, but we have to wait and see.
Okay, plenty to get to here. We'll touch on Mikel Arteta's new contract shortly, but James, you were asking the questions. And when it was with regards to Odegaard, I want to give you a quote from the Norwegian national team doctor, Ole Sand, who basically said that he's going to be out for at least 3 weeks, yet Mikel Arteta isn't ruling him out for Sunday. How'd that work?
It's what he does. It's what Arteta does, particularly before the big games. He has been, how do we put this diplomatically, coy about his team selection and team availability in the past. I mean, I'll give you a recent example. He told us that pretty much everyone was available before the international break, and then after the game, it turned out that Gabby Jesus had done an injury in training on the Thursday. Well, that press conference preview to that game was on the Friday, so we already knew that he was injured, but he told us that everybody was available. So this is the kind of thing that you're dealing with. It's very, very different, actually, to Postecoglou, because if you watch that Postecoglou presser today, I was at Mikel's at a very similar time, so I couldn't get to both. But Postecoglou starts his team news by sort of saying, well, Solanke's been training with us this week, he's okay. Van de Ven's been training with us this week, he's okay. Sarr probably out, Richarlison's definitely out. And then you listen to Arteta and he says, I'm not sure about Odegaard, even though the guy was literally on crutches 2 days ago. And also he's sort of suggesting that Calafiori might be available, and my information there is that there is absolutely no chance that Calafiori is going to be fit for that game. And from what I'm told from the sources that I speak to around Odegaard, I think they feel it's extremely unlikely that he will be involved against Spurs. And as the Norway doctor suggests, that it might be 2 or 3 weeks. The only thing to say about, as the guys will know about, ankle injuries, is they can look very bad, and then after a couple of days when the swelling goes down and the scans are repeated, it can look a lot better, and maybe someone can get back quicker than originally thought. But I would be stunned if Odegaard played on Sunday.
Saka, without Odegaard and Declan Rice suspended, how do Arsenal look as far as their style of play might differ from normal?
I'm not sure, and I think that's a big question. I mean, we had a probable lineup on the FC show last night, and we had Partey and Jorginho as the midfielders filling in, given the injuries that Arsenal are currently dealing with. And with the greatest respect, as good players as they both are, just two of them together against a high-pressing Spurs team, high-tempo Spurs team, I'll be concerned. I'll be concerned about whether they've got the legs, whether they've got the pace to cope with what Postecoglou's sides look like. And that to me is the big question. How do Arsenal, kind of given how good their midfield always is, how their midfield dictates the games, and James is right, Odegaard is a big part of that. I'm not sure how they cope. Had this been somebody else, had this been a lesser team, I probably wouldn't have the concerns that I do about Arsenal for this particular one. And then further to that point, and while Declan Rice is just a one-game suspension, Odegaard, do you chance it at all? If even there is a chance, despite what everybody else is saying, you've got Champions League to come in midweek, you've got Manchester City next weekend. Do you chance Odegaard given those games? I think right now you don't even take that chance, regardless of what Mikel Arteta may want to suggest.
Okay, Dallin, let's take a look at the potential Arsenal lineup, middle to front. Is it a case of simply dropping Kai Havertz back alongside Partey and Jorginho, or whoever he goes, and putting in Gabriel Jesus, who it looks like will be available, or Leandro Trossard, with Martinelli on the left and Saka on the right? Or do you think he's got something else in mind?
Before we show the lineup, I do want to make sure we're clear on this, guy. So this is the shirt I'm actually wearing today. That's what I was really wearing. But I'm a professional, so I changed my shirt, all right? I'm not LME. I changed my shirt for the show. So everything I say prediction-wise, you can take that maybe with a grain of salt. I am a gooner, if you will. All right, in terms of the lineup, yes, I do think that's the safe choice, is to put Partey and Jorginho. It might look more like a 4-2-3-1, drop Havertz there, and play that way if you're on the road. And typically, as Shaq just said, the press that they're going to see and the pace at which it's going to be played, it's concerning. If you wanted to get creative, you could do things different. If you remember, Saka did play in the midfield, kind of a 10 position 3-4 years ago, kind of he came into the team at times. You could do something like, you could do that. He loves Sterling. We know that. He's been really excited to have Sterling there, and throw him into the mix too. And maybe leave Havertz up top. It's a number of different options you can have, but we don't know what it's going to look like. I think the safest is what we already said, Jorginho, Partey, and then you put Havertz kind of in front of them in kind of a 4-2-3-1 setup initially. What I'm concerned about is what Shaq just touched on. Last year, this is the most critical week of the season early on, and may set the tempo in two different competitions. This is 3 straight road games against your rival. You got to go to Atlanta in the middle of the week in Champions League, and then you have City at the weekend. This is the worst time to have this happen. Now, in Declan Rice's position, that was just stupid, and that he will be back in the team, but that was a dumb mistake. For Odegaard, I think he is their most important guy. James, you touched on Saliba. Absolutely critical, and last year he logged, I think, every single minute. So, they were fortunate in last year to have him. But we saw when Saliba wasn't available 2 years ago, how this team changes. That's a problem. He's huge. But Odegaard's still the heart and soul of this team. He is their captain. He kind of unlocks so many different things on the offensive side of the ball for them and makes them kind of be who they are going forward. So without him in the lineup, which he didn't have that problem last year, he played almost every match. Declan Rice started all but one match last year. They were very fortunate in terms of injuries to make that charge and to challenge City. That has already proven to not be the case right now. We're forgetting Mikel Merino's not available either. If he was, he'd be in the lineup too. We wouldn't be talking. He would be starting in the middle of the park. So they've had the injury bug. I think he goes with a safe bet. That's why I think you may not see as many goals as the prognosticators in the betting lines assume in this match, because especially on the road, under Arteta the last 2 years, Arsenal's had a great road defensive record, and that is where this team is strongest right now with their injuries. Is their back line, is their solidity, and Raya playing very well, whether with his hands or his feet, holding everything down. So I think this team is really stout back to from the back. We'll see what happens in the midfield where the game could be won and lost. We'll see, but I don't think there's going to be a ton of goals because this is going to be a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, we'll check the odds later towards the prediction. We'll run over a little bit. Hopefully that's okay with the producers. If you see a black screen, then you know it's not, but it's nothing to do with us. By the way, a quick quiz question for James, but it involves Dallin showing and holding up a bit of show and tell what you've just done with the jersey. Can you do that again?
Go, baby. Hey.
There we go. Right, James, that jersey and 1986. Why? What have they got in common? Or a similar jersey to that one with a red kind of badge.
Oh, okay. Would this be the last time that Arsenal didn't wear red in this game?
Exactly. It's going to be weird. It's going to be Spurs in white against Arsenal in black with red and yellow and green trim. That's because the Premier League and PGMOL have said there's too much white on the Arsenal kit. Welcome to the world that we live in nowadays, boys and girls. Yes. Anyway, James, Spurs, how different a team are they? Not how much better a team are they, but how different a team are they when they've got Solanke as a focal point in attack?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because actually, if you look at the way they've started this season, they've been quite similar to last season in that they've created an awful lot of chances. I think they've had the second most shots so far in the Premier League. Okay, it's only 3 games, but that sort of onus on the attacking intent and the willingness to go and try and make the running home and away wherever they play is still very much there. And Postecoglou was frustrated last season by how profligate they were in front of goal, and I think that's the key reason why they then went and spent £65 million on a centre forward. He's the one who's supposed to solve that problem. Obviously, he's had a bit of an injury to start the season, but the news today is that he's trained all week. And again, I'd be very surprised if he didn't start this game, given that training block he's had. Because he's the one that's got to go and make the difference. He's the one that's got to go and translate that dominance in terms of possession and territorial advantage onto the score sheet, which Spurs have not done habitually. And as I say, Postecoglou on several occasions last season, he was very frustrated by it and reiterated that sentiment. I'm thinking most recently against Newcastle when they somehow contrived to lose that game.
Arsenal have won their last twice at Spurs, having not won away from home since 2014. Before that, do you expect, Saka, something similar to the last time they were there, where they ran up a 3-0 lead in just 38 minutes, or with Odegaard probably missing and Rice suspended, and with Spurs with Solanke back, you expecting this one to be a lot tighter?
Short answer is I expect this one to be a whole lot tighter. I just feel that things are looking up for Spurs in the same way they're not for Arsenal. While we're talking about Declan Rice's suspension and Odegaard's injury, Marino's injury, it's the exact opposite for Spurs. They welcome back Solanke, Van de Ven. There's suggestion that even Bissouma might be available for selection, and I just think psychologically that's a huge boost. And then kind of given Arsenal coming off that draw before the international break, and this fixture, I feel it feels bigger for Spurs than it does for Arsenal. Arsenal have their sights set on Manchester City on the top of the table. Arsenal know they're not quite in that stratosphere just yet, but a North London derby goes an awful long way to appeasing a significant section of their fan base while they work their way to becoming title contenders. So I think this is one that current analysts on this chat may want to disagree or may not want to hear. I'm thinking Spurs here 2-1, but as ever on these FC Live shows, it comes with the caveat that I may change my mind by the time okay. We sit down for FC in a few hours' time.
Well, you know what, Shaq? I haven't got to predictions yet, so it's going to give you an opportunity to give another prediction in about 2 minutes. Where you can go against that, and then you can say, well, I was right no matter what. Because I want to talk Arteta just briefly with Dallin, who may or may not have an allegiance to a certain team in North London. Deal till 2027. There's a good chance that Arsenal will have won the league by then under his tenure. If they don't, will he, whenever he leaves Arsenal, be forever known as the man that might have won the title if they'd signed a striker? If they don't do it.
There's a lot of hypotheticals in there.
Oh, yes.
The one you assumed they win by 2027 made my heart flutter when you said that. But let's see if that could actually happen. Yeah, I think if that plays out where they never sign a striker, and if it doesn't happen by 2027, then yeah, I think you could argue that the boardroom was complicit in the demise of the team. Not the demise, but I guess the inability to fulfill their full potential. Because it seems like everything is there. That's just been the repeated point of can they figure that out? Now, I do think Kai Havertz has fit really well there, but to put an elite striker in that position and be willing to splash the cash to do it could change the equation here. And these guys, again, are all young by and large and should be here and could stay. This whole group can stay intact through the end of that contract, and I hope they do. And that would be the missing piece signed. So he's the right coach. He's the right manager. He was since they first hired him, and he went through some ups and downs early on. But yeah, that strike piece seems to be the one element we've yet to been able to solve with still having good results.
Okay, let's get to the prediction. It's very kind of James to be on a delayed train, get off in some leafy suburb, whether it's, let's read, Earlsfield, East Dulwich, or Chiswick, and stand beside that tree and talk to us. Is it any one of those 3 leafy suburbs, James?
No, that is exactly what I've done. But no, I'm in North London, not in. I thought I'd come to North London, right? I mean, just to do this. That's the commitment I have. I've just come into North London to do this, and then I'm going to go home again.
Unbelievable. So you can start with the prediction. What are you going to go for?
I'm going. Well, as I said earlier, I'm going to say draw. I'm going to say 1-1. I think.
Okay.
I just think one other very quick point to make about the midfield. Yes. Arsenal's midfield is I just wanted to mention Ethan Nwaneri because there are a few noises that he might get some game time. Again, I'd be very surprised if he started, but I just think he's worth mentioning as a possible alternative. Just because Arsenal have talked a lot about trying to give their academy players more of a chance this season. I don't think Tottenham away was probably the game they had in mind when they were talking about that. But, an opportunity, the sort of cards have fallen here that he could throw Nwaneri into what obviously be the biggest game of his young career. Not sure it'll happen, but I just think we should just flag that as a possible option. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 and Spurs to take a point.
Saka, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to do something I don't think you've ever done yet, and that's have a different prediction on the same show as you've previously given a prediction. So what do you reckon, Saka, for the North London derby?
No, I've never had a different prediction on the same show. I've had 3 different predictions on 3 different shows. all about the same game. So I'm sticking with my 2-1.
Okay. And Dallin, we'll finish with you, and you get your own full screen graphics to read through as well.
Feel great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, let's again, objectively speaking here, the value is on the draw, as James just pointed out, or Tottenham, the home team with better health. With as Shaq pointed out, this may mean more to Spurs and where they.
Thursday, the 12th of that September. And we've got on today's Totally Football Show, Duncan Alexander.
Hello, James.
Hi, Duncan. Adrian Clark's with us as well. Right, Adrian.
Hello.
Nice to see you. And on the big screen, Rory Smith.
Hello.
Hi, Rory. Nice to see you.
A pleasure to see you too.
We haven't actually talked, I don't think, since the Euro final.
That would be correct, I think, yeah.
You been well?
I've been very well. I kind of took 6 weeks off football, really. I went and did the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
And fell in love with it. Just became like a table tennis ultra. Yeah. Live table tennis. That's what I'm all about now. I might bring it up in the course of the podcast, so that's something to look forward to.
Excellent. You've also, no doubt, been continuing to churn out if it's not award-winning, it should be On Soccer with Rory Smith newsletter, which...
very much not award-winning On Soccer with Rory Smith newsletter, but it's quite fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, for all concerned, I like to think.
All right, very nice. We've got the Premier League back this weekend. Lots to look forward to. North London derby. Bournemouth-Chelsea. We'll be hearing about the blue-on-blue skirmishes and the West London Giants a little bit later on. This is Liverpool-Forest. There's so much stuff. And, of course, there's been the remaining international games since our last show with that Nations League action. Tuesday, England beating Finland 2-0. Duncan.
Yes. I watched this.
Yep.
Because I had to. But it was good. Another 2-0 win. I mean, England are sort of marooned in League B, which means that it is a succession of fairly easy fixtures. But I think we saw in a slightly different way to the Ireland game, which obviously quite het up. But this was another sort of sign of the differences under Lee Carsley.
What were they?
Well, he brought in Angel Gomez, who played for him in the under-21s, and he became, according to our friends at Opta, the first player on record to ever complete more than 100 passes on his England debut. And he brought a kind of chavvy, tiki-taka-esque sort of control to the middle of the park, which I think England have been, looking for, particularly in bigger games for quite a long time. I mean, yes, big caveats, it's Finland, etc. But he did look, completely comfortable there. And even the fact he plays in League 1 and no League player played for England since Trevor Steven back in the early 90s. So it's
amazing, huh?
He's Manchester United fans are probably a bit sad that he was their player and has gone on to become this good, because he looked very good.
Indeed, and he's been drawing rave reviews over in Liga as well. Rico Lewis making his second start for England at left back. Nono Madueke making his England debut, coming on late on to set up Kane's second game. Harry Kane with a brace in the match. That is now an absolutely crazy 68 goals in 100 appearances.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was probably the other story from the evening, was just how sharp Kane looked. I mean, his first goal hit it so hard, ridiculously hard, and it kind of makes you, slightly wistful for the summer, in the sense that Kane in that.
So let's set the scene for the return of the Premier League. Everyone's played 3 matches. We've got 4 more games to come before the next international break, but we've got European football, Carabao Cup games in the mix over the next 3 weeks as well. Alongside me for this episode, we welcome back Nick Miller. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you?
Very good. Have you enjoyed the international break?
Yes, well, sort of. I went on holiday, so that was and kind of avoided, sort of pretended football didn't exist for a week, which was I can recommend. It's a real palate cleanser.
Yeah, which I think many people who are devoted Premier League fans and league football fans probably did the same, even if they didn't have the joy of going away on holiday. Where did you go, by the way?
Bilbao,
which
I can recommend thoroughly.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Travel tips and football analysis from Nick Miller. John McKenzie is here as well. Did you enjoy the international break?
I had a great time, yes. You know, I love international football, so I'm sated.
Excellent. Always with a kick of cynicism just to start the show. I do like it, John. Thank you very much indeed. So what have we got coming up this weekend? 8 games on Saturday, starting with pointless Southampton up against Manchester United, who I suppose if you're Cristiano Ronaldo would say that they are pointless as well. They're going head-to-head in the early game. 12:30 UK, that's 7:30 Eastern time. Then we've got 5 games at 3 o'clock, which is 10 o'clock Eastern, including both of the 100% sides in the league. The leaders on goal difference, Manchester City host Brentford, and then Liverpool up against Forest. Then at 5:30, that's 12:30 Eastern, Villa against the only other pointless team, that's Everton. Then at 8 o'clock or 3 Eastern, it's Bournemouth against Chelsea. Then on Sunday, we have the North London derby, Spurs against Arsenal at 2 or 9 Eastern, and Wolves against Newcastle, which is 4:30 or 11:30. And we've got a lot to come on all of the games this weekend, with plenty of expert analysis from our team here at The Athletic. But let's focus on the grudge match in North London first up. So it's a fixture that's nearly always a cracker, by the sounds of it. Last season, we saw a dramatic 2-2 at the Emirates, and then in the reverse fixture, Arsenal led 3-2. Spurs fought back for a nervy end to make it 3-2, and Arsenal were 3-0 up at half-time. It's interesting because that win for Arsenal, Nick, was one of 5 defeats in the last 7 for Spurs to end last season. This season, it's a draw against Leicester, comfortable win against Everton, and then a loss at Newcastle. So overall, for Ange Postecoglou, it's only 3 wins out of his last 10 in the Premier League. He needs, at the very least, a very, very good performance, if not needing a win in this one, just to get everyone sort of back enjoying him being the manager again.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, apart from the last few weeks of the season, there was a fairly objectively good season for Spurs, but because of the timing of the bad run, and then it's obviously spilled over into this season a little bit, then mood seems a little bit kind of pessimistic. I almost think it would have the worst result possible for Spurs is if they play quite well but don't win, because they sort of losing, getting pumped by Arsenal would be bad. I think we can probably all agree on that. But if they sort of maybe dominate possession, they play quite well, but then don't score the goals that kind of domination might deserve, then that's kind of repeating a pattern that we've seen a couple of times already this season, Leicester and Newcastle to an extent as well. And it feels like that is the more that happens, the more that people will kind of think, whatever Postecoglou is trying isn't really working. So, they kind of do need a win, and not in the sort of existential, well, Postecoglou is going to get sacked if they don't kind of thing. And I suspect there isn't much, even if they don't win and they go on a bit of a bad run, there's not much immediate prospect of that happening. But as you say, it's more of a kind of just getting everyone back on side, let everyone feeling a little bit better about themselves rather than anything too drastic.
Yeah, what's your take on that, John? Do you feel that his credit bank is sort of just running out of juice a little bit, or not?
I think so, yeah. I mean, certainly the fan base will be questioning what's going on. And I think we talked about this last week, where we said the thing with Spurs at the moment is that it feels as though they have to grind and grind and grind to get goals. And yet the oppositions are scoring with like one chance, seemingly from nowhere. And I think that's a tough prospect for fan bases to have to deal with, because even if the performances are largely good, and I think that's what the argument is, right? It's that Spurs are largely dominating games and they are generating chances and they're not going in, but it's that tension I think the fan base find themselves in between. Why is it so hard for us to score compared to the teams that we're playing? So yeah, I think a North London derby win would go a long way towards sorting the fan base out for a few more weeks. So I think it's pretty important for them to come away with something here.
And touching on what John said there, Nick, the fact that they've got Dominic Solanke all but certainly back, needing goals, needing that cutting edge, is it altogether a positive, or is it just feeling like, well, if he's at a big club and he's not going to be able to deal with the pressure, it could become too much for him? Where's your needle on this one? Do you feel that he's the missing piece of the jigsaw sort of vibes for Solanke, or not?
Yeah, I mean, in theory he is. I mean, as John says, it seems to be taking them an awful lot of chances to score. They didn't have Solanke against Newcastle, and you kind of think maybe if he was in the team from the start, was in the team at all, then they would have been slightly better. Brennan Johnson did very well when he came on in that game, so I wonder if he might start this one again. But yeah, it is a sort of slightly odd one. He's not this sort of okay, they bought Solanke, so that's definitely their goal scoring problem solved. He's a really, really good striker, and he scored a lot of goals last season. But you kind of the worry about him is that you've signed a striker from a kind of lower, in inverted commas, team that might not quite be good enough to do what they need to do. I like him. I think he will score goals for Spurs, but it might take him a little while to get going, particularly given that his start has been slightly disrupted by injury, and combined with the fact that all the stuff that we've been talking about before. If he doesn't start scoring goals, then people might start getting on his back, and of course this will all be kind of moot if he gets one or two on Sunday, and suddenly he's a hero. But yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, we should probably give him a little bit of slack, seeing as he's only played one game. And
I don't want to write him off. It's not Solanke flop after one game.
No, exactly. I think my initial question might have suggested that already, but I didn't mean it. 19 Premier League goals last season. Fingers crossed for him. We'll talk about Arsenal's absentees and analyse that situation as far as they are concerned a little bit later on, John. But with no Rice suspended, no Marino to come in, Odegaard now missing. Yeah, for people who weren't paying attention during the international break, Martin Odegaard injured for Norway, and it looks like a serious one that's going to keep him out for quite some time. That puts Spurs at a great advantage, doesn't it, in midfield, John?
I mean, yeah, in a football sense, yes, Spurs will be looking at this and thinking, actually, this is an Arsenal team that maybe they wouldn't have considered gettable at quite so easily, that are now looking a little bit more gettable at. It does change the dynamics of the game a little bit, though, insofar as now it looks... If you lose to Arsenal with their full strength 11, you can say, well, we lost to Arsenal, but they're a good team, they're challenging for the title, etc., etc. If you lose to Arsenal when they're missing their starting midfield, you have less of those excuses. And I think that Spurs will be going into this one thinking, well, we've got to do well here as well. So there's the added pressure of that. So yeah, I think it's one of those tricky ones where the dynamics change on the basis of what expectations are. And I think that Spurs will feel the pressure of winning this game, because they'll be like, there's not going to be an easier chance for us to beat our main rivals this season, or maybe for a few seasons to come, so we need to take it. And I think also Arsenal play quite well as underdogs. We saw that when they went down to 10 men against Brighton. I think they play quite nicely when they can just sit deep and then break, which I suspect we'll probably see them. I say sit deep, they'll probably block out a little bit more, be a bit more compact and just look for the moments to attack. I think that probably will suit them as well. So it's a funny one. Yeah, you'd say on paper advantage Spurs, but I would also say there's positives here for Arsenal despite the big negatives.
And how much of an advantage will it give them if they also have Mickey van der Ven back for them, John? Because he's such a... I know you talk about difference makers almost predominantly in the final third. He's a difference maker at the back, but he can be in the final third within a split second anyway, can't he?
Yeah, I mean, this is two teams with a lot of difference makers in the back line. So yeah, it'll be important for Spurs to have Van der Ven back. We saw what happens when he's not in the starting lineup against Newcastle. That the winning goal for Newcastle came from one of those big defensive transitions where we don't know what would have happened, but you feel as though had Van der Ven been in that back line making that recovery run, maybe things would have turned out differently. So Van der Ven super important for Spurs because they are so open at the back. That's a tactical decision there that they want to leave big spaces to defend and then have the defenders who can defend those big spaces. And when you miss Van der Ven, as we've seen in the few occasions in the last couple of seasons where he's been missing, Spurs do look a little bit more shaky.
Nick?
It is. I mean, yeah, it is on that subject. I mean, it does feel increasingly mad that Spurs didn't sign another centre back in the transfer window. I mean, that they have Dragusin and then Ben Davies is the next in line. I mean, it's quite a drop off from Van der Ven, and to a point, Van der Ven is, you're going to struggle to find someone who can replace him, particularly as a sort of backup. Because he has such a sort of fairly unique set of skills that is suited to how Postecoglou wants to play. But to sign, Wilson Odegaard, who, very promising player, but they didn't need another winger. They've got quite a few of those. They did need a sort of a slightly higher quality sort of depth in centre back. Dragusin is, I think there's a bit of a drop off, and he's kind of in a slightly unfair position because he signed for Spurs and then sort of barely played. That was one of the big when I was speaking to Romania fans before the Euros, one of their big concerns is that Dragusin just hadn't played for Tottenham. So to kind of now expect him to be thrown in and replace Van der Ven, and that's the nature of a kind of backup in any position, but it does feel like of the key players in the sort of Premier League's bigger teams, the drop off from Van der Ven to the next best option is one of the bigger ones. Maybe only Odegaard to the next kind of similar option at Arsenal is one of the other sort of comparables. But yeah, it feels like it hasn't. Maybe I've been missing it, and I confess I don't regularly listen to the Tottenham podcast, so maybe they've been talking about it a lot on there. But it feels like under discussed how Spurs. One of the things with the transfer window is that Spurs didn't sign a centre back.
Well, it's funny you should say that about the Tottenham podcast View from the Lane, because let's check in with Charlie Eccleshare, who was speaking to Danny Kelly on the latest episode.
I think it's a good time to play Arsenal, and I think and Spurs are, they will have a game surely where some of these chances they're creating go in and they kind of regress to the mean in terms of their finishing, their goal scoring.
Sunday
would
be a nice place to start that process.
And Sunday would be a good chance. And I feel like if they can start quickly and aggressively, and I think they will, and I also feel they might benefit. Quite a few of those players weren't away on international duty. Guys like James Maddison, should be in pretty good shape for this. I think they can really go at Arsenal quickly, whip the crowd up. It could be a bit like that 3-0 Conte game, and suddenly they're against a team that are diminished. I think there's a real chance.
That's interesting from Charlie there, feeling that, Spurs do have that advantage. They'll obviously have the home crowd behind them. They might be sort of scenting blood in the water, the fact that Arsenal are depleted. Let's focus on Arsenal, John. The fact that Martin Odegaard is not going to be playing. You said recently that you felt like it was a ticking time bomb as to when he gets injured, how do Arsenal replace him? The bomb's gone off. How will they?
Yeah, it's a good question. As was mentioned before, the gap between Odegaard and his replacement, I guess, who I assume we're saying is Ethan Nwaneri, is mad. I mean, Nwaneri's played I think 15 senior minutes for Arsenal in the last two seasons. Expecting him to come in and for a North London derby for a full debut, I think is maybe pushing the realms of reality a little bit. So I think what's going to have to happen here is some kind of shape change. I think they're going to have to tweak things a little bit. We saw last season that they did do that against Liverpool, I think in the FA Cup, where they went to a 4-4-2, 4-2-4 shape. And I think that will suit them as well, because in that shape they're able, as I said before, they're able to sit a little bit deeper, maybe just be a little less aggressive in terms of trying to possess the ball and dominate the game, but have this really nice just sort of shape to work out of and pick their moments to go forwards. And I think that's maybe what we'll see. And so rather than replacing Odegaard, what we're doing is just taking him out the team and just going with the two-man midfield and having two players in front of them. Probably Havertz and one of Jesus or Trossard. So I think that's what will happen. I can't see any other way of them sorting out. I mean, the sort of
and has been for over a century. Arsenal arrive on enemy territory, shorn of key first-teamers, but not of confidence or swagger. The Gunners have been top dogs in this part of the capital throughout the Premier League era and going further back. If you're of red and white persuasion, then it truly is North London forever. But up the road, it will not be a familiar song that greets the Arsenal players as they walk into the sunshine this afternoon, but one of hostility from the home support, who so desperately want Tottenham to have significant and sustained prominence over their near neighbours. A special match for all concerned. A parochial dust-up played out on the national stage. The game of the weekend, a game both teams' fans will hope to win, but beg not to lose. Bragging rights that extend beyond the locality and across the globe, given the supporters of both clubs stretch far and wide. You're with Dan Roebuck and Adrian Clark. AD, this a game always to savour.
Oh, it is, yeah. And look, in recent times, it's a match that Arsenal have performed very well in. Obviously, we've won 5 of the last 7, 2 in a row here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm excited. The opportunity to come to our bitter neighbours and to win again is very, very exciting. But there's the flip side to it, of course, and that is the possibility of the result not going your way. So, look, I understand why nerves are shredded with Gooners the world over today, but we've got to place faith in the team.
Two teams in the tunnel at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the first North London derby of the season. The 196th meeting between Tottenham and Arsenal across all competitions. And as the Arsenal and Spurs players emerge into the North London sunshine, the Gunners aiming for an 83rd win. This, incidentally, the 175th meeting to take place in the top flight. It is always big. It is slightly different this season, of course, because usually we play the old enemy at home first up before we take them on away from home. The fixture computer has switched the games for the 24-25 campaign. Will that make any difference? Probably not. No quarter Aston given, as you would expect. Let's just remind you of the two teams. First of all, as discussed for much of the week, Arsenal without Rice and Odegaard through suspension and injury. Jorginho therefore comes into midfield. Martinelli is restored to the starting lineup, and Arsenal go like this, we think. Get Ady's thoughts in a second. David Raya in goal, back four from left to right. Timber, Gabriel, Saliba and White. Midfield trio, Trossard, Partey and Jorginho. And then Saka, Martinelli and Havertz. We think Havertz up front, or do we think Havertz further back?
People are split. I personally would absolutely stick with Kai Havertz up front. I think he's in the groove in that position. I think his movement in behind the high line of Spurs could be really, really important for us today. I don't think personally it's the day for a false nine type that always wants to come short. We need runners in beyond, and Havertz has shown that in recent games, or the more often he plays up front, the more we see him spinning down the channel. So I would keep him there personally, but it might be a case of him and Trossard just flip-flopping throughout the 90 minutes, mixing things up, which I certainly wouldn't be against.
Ange Postecoglou has made 4 changes to the Tottenham side, who were beaten by Newcastle before the international break. Mickey van der Ven returns from injury at the back, while Yves Bissouma and Papa Matastar miss out in midfield. Summer signing Dominic Solanke returns to fitness, starts up front. Brennan Johnson and Rodrigo Bentancur also recalled. Spurs like this, we think, 4-3-3. Vicario, of course, in goal. A back four from left to right of Udogie van der Ven, Romero and Pedro Porro. A midfield trio, Maddison, Bentancur and Kulusevski. And then Son, Johnson and Solanke as a forward 3, could even be a forward 5. You mentioned to me before we came on air, AD, that this is going back to Aussie our dealers, isn't it? I mean, Spurs have gone big with the attacking play.
It is. As soon as I saw the lineup, I was like, where are the defenders? It is really, really bold, because Rodrigo Bentancur really is quite a box-to-box type midfielder. He's going to have to be the sitter today, with Maddison and Kulusevski either side. And then you've also got the front 3 of Son, Solanke and Johnson. They're going to look to target the wide areas. I'll tell you that now. I've watched a bit of Spurs this season. Maddison's going to pull left and look to create 2v1s with Son around Ben White. On the right, Kulusevski and Johnson are going to look to gang up on Yuri and Timber. That's the way Tottenham want to play. But can we pick them off when we have the ball? Do they have enough defensive-minded players in their starting 11, Tottenham Hotspur? From an Arsenal perspective, I desperately hope the answer is that they don't have enough players, because I think we can pick them off. I really do. Tottenham's team selection almost guarantees that this is going to be an attack-minded match, in my opinion.
Jared Gillett is our match day official. He oversaw our opening day win over Wolves, incidentally. The 5th time that we've tasted victory in his 7 appointments, while Spurs have won 4 and lost 4 under the Aussies' watch. Arsenal players in a huddle towards the away fans, away to our left here, not wearing red and white. No idea why that's happening today. Something that happened that hasn't happened for a long, long time. Look, we'll let the bean counters worry about that. All we've got to worry about is that, as far as we're concerned today, it's the men in black that can dazzle the opposition. Let's hope so. Get set for a start then. Mikel Arteta was disappointed, obviously, to drop points against Brighton before the international break. Controversial circumstances, and although I've seen over the course of this weekend on social media that it still rankles with an awful lot of Gunners fans, let's put it to the back of our minds today. This is all about the North London derby, and it's all about Arsenal getting one over Spurs. We're underway. The Gunners attacking the goal away to our right. A long punt forwards here, looking to try and get Havertz in early. This is Bukayo Saka, of course, scored home on away against Tottenham last time out, as Arsenal look to start prominently. Have we spotted anything that we didn't think of when it comes to the lineup?
It's as we called it. Kai Havertz is the striker. Leandro Trossard will play at 10. And I would expect, really, it to be more of a double pivot today with Thomas Partey and Jorginho. they're not the most mobile players. I think they need strength in numbers in that central midfield today. So I expect them to play as a tight two with Trossard given that freedom. Arsenal, good front foot start here with the corner.
Early opportunity, Bukayo Saka places the ball in the quadrant on the right-hand side, getting the catcalls from the Spurs fans behind the goal to our right. This one is going to be swung in left-footed. We know that Vicario has been a little shaky in situations like this. Movement inside the 6-yard box. The corner eventually towards that near-post area, and it's cleared away by Johnson. Looks to find Son, then it's forced back inside the penalty area for Havertz. And Spurs will get another opportunity to clear, which they do. The ball stays in play, and Saliba will play it all the way back to David Raya.
Yeah, look, the atmosphere is electric, as you would expect, but look, Arsenal on the front foot from the get-go, looking to assert some authority.
Jorginho falling foul of the law for the first time in the fixture as Kulusevski is brought down. Free kick to Tottenham. Maddison has the ball.
Yeah, look, I'm slightly concerned about the referee appointment today. Jarrod Gillett is not top of the list, in my opinion, of our best officials. So, look, I just hope he's strong enough to referee this match adequately today. You know, I know I probably shouldn't say that, but I just have. I just think some of the referees that are maybe the weaker officials can be influenced by the home fans, and I hope that's not the case here today.
Here is Van der Ven, fit again after missing the Newcastle defeat. Spurs' form so far this season has been a little patchy in terms of the points that they've got, which is just 4, of course, with a win, a draw and a defeat. They might have played a little bit better than those results and those numbers suggest, as Son looks to switch play to the right-hand side, taken down by Pedro Porro. Kulusevski is calling for it infield, and then it's rolled back here towards Bentancur. Maybe a little unlucky against Leicester. Saw that game. They were very good in the first half, I thought.
Yeah, I think they've played better than the results have suggested. Dominated Newcastle for long periods as well and lost that game. 68.9% of possession they've had this season.
Good looking ball in from Maddison. In fact, it's overcooked a little. It comes towards Son on this near side. The ball doesn't quite spin out of play. Son has to battle with Ben White. The Korean does well. Twist and a turn to inch it back to Udogie.
Yeah, good physical duel that, wasn't it, between White and Son? No quarter given. Both looking to use their strength and muscle to knock the other off the ball.
Son, who grabbed a couple of goals in the win against Everton. Spurs' only win so far this season, let's not forget. Now it's with Havertz and Arsenal to come forward, tries to play it towards Martinelli. Pedro Porro does well. Martinelli catches the Portuguese. That's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, it was the right idea from Kai Havertz. He could see that Martinelli was free on the left, so the execution of the pass wasn't the best. It was intercepted, and then Martinelli just trips up the Spurs player. I think that Porro is a player to look out for today. I think I talked about Johnson, Kulusevski down the right. Well, Porro will also join in. No player, actually, has made more successful crosses in open play than Pedro Porro this season, and he scored as well, didn't he, at the King Power Stadium. So I think he's a decent fullback, and you look at the form of Martinelli and you think, well, maybe actually Porro might be the possible favourite to win that duel. Let's see.
Udogie to come forward for Tottenham, just over the halfway line, plays it towards Son, who did score for Korea in a World Cup qualifier against Oman recently, but his Korean side held by Palestine rather worryingly for Korea, whose form has dropped in their attempt to make the World Cup finals. They should still make it through, you would have thought. They should have been given a couple more spots in that race to the United States, Canada and Mexico. Spurs have possession again. Johnson coming across to the left-hand side. This is Son to the byline, pulls it back well, and the shot is well saved by David Raya. Was that Kulusevski that got there? It was a save at the near post that he should have made, but it still needed to be made.
Yeah, this is one of those overloads I was talking about. Solanke pulls left and he just slips Son in behind Ben White. It's cut back from Son to Kulusevski, and it's a really smart save from David Raya at the near post. It's a save you expect him to make, but he still had to do it. That was good play from Spurs.
8 goals last season in the Premier League for Kulusevski. None so far this campaign. In comes the corner, far post. David Raya comes and claims. Not the best delivery, but a comfortable catch from the Spaniards, who rolls it out towards Martinelli. Good defensive work from Tottenham. Then Vicario looks to play it over to the right-hand side. Pedro Porro will take it down and then launches it towards Solanke. You get something on it. It's a bit awkward, but Maddison will pick it up after good work from Son and Kulusevski and now Udogie, and Spurs just trying to establish a bit of control in that midfield.
They are. Yeah, look, we're 4-4-2 out of possession with Trossard joining Havertz up top. Might need Trossard to drop in a little bit more than he has done so far, because Spurs got a lot of numbers inside the engine room with, see, Maddison central, Kulusevski central, Son just moved in there. We might need Trossard to just drop in on occasion. At the moment, he's playing quite advanced, you know, almost up with Kai Havertz.
Yeah, it does appear to be the case, doesn't it? We wondered what sort of role he would play, but certainly higher up the pitch than Martinelli and Saka. Spurs coming forward again, Pedro Porro on the right-hand side. The ball goes out of play. Martinelli with the defensive work.
Yeah, look, you're going to have to ride the storm at some certain stages of this game. This is a derby against a strong Tottenham side, and that's what Arsenal are having to go through at the moment. Tottenham have the wind in their sails, got themselves another corner. It was good defending from Martinelli.
Corner taken in swinger, cleared away by Havertz to the edge of the area. Here is Pedro Porro again. Kulusevski looking to bend this one in low, flicks up, punched away by David Raya, parried away by the Spaniard, and then Partey is felled. That's a free kick for Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal need to calm it down here. That was a devilishly difficult cross to deal with from Kulusevski through bodies. He swings it in, and there's a lot of players in Raya's way. It bounces. I think he reacts very, very well. Gets good distance on the parry as well.
Timber to clear, but Spurs have it again. This is Kulusevski, who's had some good touches early on. Here he is once more, edge of the area, still going forward. Kulusevski's shot is blocked. Gabriel and Saliba between them. I think it was Gabriel that got down and made himself big, and it just ricocheted off the shins and away, and then Arsenal come forward through Martinelli on the left-hand side. Yeah. He's got Romero with him.
Yeah, look, Arsenal have done a good job the last season, a bit of quietening away fans. But you know, at the moment, it's vociferous because Spurs are on top. Arsenal, as they got possession now, have got to keep the ball and kind of quieten down this vibe.
Saka could be in here, right-hand side. In comes the cross, cleared away by Pedro Porro. Timber. And now Martinelli has it, allows Pedro Porro to get the shot, to get the challenge in. He will clear, then it comes off Timber and out for a Spurs throw.
Yeah, well, that's encouraging, the way that a little 1-2 with Bukayo Saka gets him in behind the Spurs rear guard. We know that they keep a very square back line under Ange Postecoglou, and Saka got him beyond very, very easily there. And his ball in wasn't too bad either. We just need Martinelli to get on the end of that.
Arsenal, of course, have won on the last 2 visits here in the Premier League. As many as the previous 17, 9 defeats in that stretch. Here is Son from Udogie. Maddison is getting forward. Solanke calling for it as well. Tempted cross is blocked by White. Comes back out towards Son once again. And then Son trades passes here with Van de Ven before the Korean will curl it back towards Romero on that right-hand side. And Spurs will slow it down.
Yeah, just looking at Maddison and Partey as the duel. And then Jorginho on the left of the double pivot has got to look after Kulusevski when they have the ball. They've got to have good games today, Jorginho and Thomas Partey. It's imperative for our chances of winning this derby.
Spurs have it again. Johnson on the right-hand side. And now it's with Romero. Van de Ven centrally, 40 yards out, plays it for Udogie on the left-hand side. Now it's with Son. White is quickly in, gets the ball, I think, not according to the referee. Free kick Spurs.
Yeah, looked at 50-50. He has kept his card in his pocket, thankfully, Jared Gillett. Yeah, the ball from Udogie into Son, and he's trying to nick it, isn't he, Ben White? He gets there late. There's not a lot of contact. Son makes the most of it, but it is a free kick. And this pressure, this sustained pressure from Tottenham Hotspur, it's just cranked up a gear. Big concentration needed here. Cool heads as well.
Free kick, left-hand side. Maddison to shape this one potentially. An in-swinger ushers away Bentancur. And Jared Gillett makes sure that the ball is where the offence took place. It was only out by a couple of inches. Maddison, left-hand side, just half a yard in from the touchline. He's going to curl this one in from the left-hand side. In-swinger, easily dealt with, poor free kick.
It was a shocker, wasn't it, from Maddison, who I think started the season pretty well.
Arsenal can go second with a win. Surprise defeat for Liverpool yesterday against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, that was a bonus, wasn't it? Good away day win for Forest. Good tactical performance from them under Nuno. But yeah, look, Arsenal have got to calm it down here. They've got to get their foot on the ball and just regain a sense of control. And that, I think, will just settle everybody down. At the moment, this sort of white-hot atmosphere is getting to us a little bit.
Spurs have it back. Odegaard will play it for Vicario. And now Romero has it just outside his own penalty area. I've been accustomed to fast starts in this fixture, certainly from an Arsenal point of view. Be great to get in front once again, but that is no guarantee of victory in this fixture, as we know.
Yeah. No fixture has had more or less wins from the team that scored first.
That's right, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Got a coming together off the ball here, Timber and Johnson, and Jared Gillett is across to admonish the Arsenal man here.
Yeah, look, let's have a look. He does put his arm around Brennan Johnson, and then there's a little bit of a coming together, and he hits the deck. There's nothing in it at all. No, the referee needs to get too worked up about that.
Van de Ven, left-hand side, coming forward, looking for Son. First time for Udogie. Seemed to strike an arm. The challenge comes in, but the referee spots the infringement. Saliba it was that came across, and a free kick to Arsenal here. And we've had 13 minutes at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. Mikel Arteta down below us, patrolling his technical area.
Yeah, he want more possession. Arsenal have had just 26.7% of the ball so far. Spurs have made 3 times as many passes as Arsenal. So, you know, of course you're going to have to absorb pressure in games like this. That's obvious. But I think he'd like Arsenal to have significantly more of the ball than we've had so far.
Ball has gone out of play. Arsenal have a throw, or is it a free kick? Ben White wants to take a free kick here after Solanke barged into Saliba. So Arsenal will restart here. Really good away record. Of course, they've won 9 of the last 10 away from home. Arsenal keeping 8 clean sheets in that sequence as well. Each of the last 5 on the road. Last time the Gunners went 6 wins on the spin over a decade ago. But this is a tough place to come for a variety of reasons. David Raya puts his foot on the ball, side foots it to Partey. Maddison is chasing around trying to win it back. Oh, he's been given away! And an opportunity for Solanke, who turns into trouble, thankfully. And Arsenal come away with possession. Trossard is fouled, and that's going to be a free kick, and Arsenal have got lucky.
Well, Arsenal had the confidence to play out from the back, trying to lure Spurs in, but it's a really sloppy pass from Ben White. And the ball falls to Solanke, and the recovery from William Saliba is instant. It is absolutely outstanding from Arsenal's central defender. He shunts across 5 yards. Brilliant block.
Meanwhile, Timber at the other end. Arsenal coming forward inside the penalty area. In comes the delivery. Udogie will clear. It'll pop up for Porro, who puts the laces through it to the halfway line. Solanke will look to try and control. He runs into Saliba, who wins it back fairly. No.
Wow,
free kick.
That didn't seem a foul to me.
Oh, I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. Saliba has been yellow carded, presumably. Get this, wait for the headlines, stop it everybody, for preventing a restart.
Yeah, throwing the ball away. Look, this is what I talk about with calm heads. Just don't do it. You've got to be much cooler than that. He's just made a fantastic block on the edge of his own box. And therefore, look, I felt it wasn't a foul. I thought it was a very lucky decision for Tottenham. But Saliba, he can't afford to just chuck the ball away. And Jared Gillett, I'm sorry, he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait there to brandish the yellow card. He could not wait to dish it out.
My Twitter timeline has been full of people giving examples of what happened yesterday when players were knocking the ball away and not getting yellow cards.
Yep. Well, it's a nightmare because Saliba's...
I've only got 10 followers.
It's true, didn't there? Wasn't there a Liverpool player that did it? Yeah, on a yellow card. So
there was a lot of examples.
The inconsistency is infuriating.
That's just incredible.
It is infuriating, and yet, again, we get punished. But look, I'm actually going to pin that on Saliba. You've got to be smarter than that. Yes, in a game like this, where the referee, it's an intimidating arena, this, and the referee isn't experienced refereeing big games in the Premier League. He's human and he's bound to be influenced, and I don't think he could wait to dish that card out. Sorry for repeating it, but it's how I see it.
I can't believe that's happened in this game just 2 weeks after the Horizons.
Yeah, William's got to be calmer. He'll learn from it.
Free kick for Arsenal, long to the left-hand side. Timber will take it down and look for a bit of support. Threads it down the left-hand side for Trossard. 3 inside the penalty area, waiting for the delivery. Pedro Porro is goal side. Trossard takes a touch and another.
You need some support here.
Plays it through the legs of Pedro Porro here, and it's inside the penalty area, and the shot from Timber is blocked. Not too much of the goal to aim at there, and then Spurs try to win it back with Kulusevski along with Solanke, and the referee's got to get hold of the players here. That's going to be an Arsenal free kick.
Yeah, look, they've got hold of Saliba. The thing is, Tottenham are going to play on Saliba now, aren't they? They're going to be really physical in the duels with him, hoping he makes another error.
Meanwhile, Martinelli, left-hand side, away from Pedro Porro, gets the cross in here, and it's Havertz! Gets the header in, and he's saved by Vicario. Just for a split second, it looked like it got away from him. Arsenal were trying to knock it in from close range via Trossard, but at the second attempt, he controls with his hands and gets away with it.
It's a fine save. It's a majestic header from Kai Havertz. Is there a handball inside the box? Does the goalkeeper knock the ball onto the hand of Pedro Porro? Yes, he does. And nothing is being given. Absolutely nothing. Could he do anything about that, though? I would say that's point-blank range, but...
I think it prevents the ball from dropping to an Arsenal player.
It does. That could...
I think it was Romero, wasn't it, the arm, but...
That could be deemed as a controversial incident. Why haven't they had a look at it? I mean, it was good play from Martinelli.
Oh, great play from Son. Gets away from Ben White, edge of the penalty area. Plays it short, though, for a doggy. Outside the Arsenal box, left-hand side. Son has it. Now it's with Maddison. Maddison moves from left to right and then plays it back towards Romero, whose hand certainly was in the way. And then Maddison tries to filter it through with Bentancur. The ball eventually breaks free. We've got 2 players down, one of each team. Martinelli has continued off on his run on the left-hand side. Trossard is calling for it. It's gone back here towards Jorginho, who plays it forward. Now it's with Trossard again. Plays it inside the fullback. Martinelli could be in here, inside the area. Fine save, Vicario. Has to do better, a little bit close to the keeper, really.
Travel with it. Take it towards the goalkeeper, Gabriel Martinelli. It's brilliant play again down the left. Trossard slips him in, but he's got 10 yards in front of him. He can get closer to the goalkeeper before committing. He takes it too early. I'm afraid, Dan, that is a shot of a player that's lacking a little bit of confidence at the moment. Gabriel Martinelli in top form takes that much closer towards goal and slips it in the bottom corner. That's 2 big chances for Arsenal. It's a good header from Havertz, well saved. It was Romero whose hand it hit on the follow-up. You're right, Dan. And there, Martinelli, I think should do much better.
He had to score against Spurs, 5th time that he's playing against Tottenham. There is Bentancur and now Van der Ven, and eventually Romero.
The Arsenal fans making themselves heard. Good to see.
Kulusevski, right-hand side. Back here towards Pedro Porro. 20 minutes in here. No goals, remarkably. Chances at both ends. Keepers have been involved. Maddison doing the pointing. And eventually the pass comes towards Solanke, who drops deep. Now it's Bentancur. Here is Johnson on the right-hand side.
Yeah, doing a good job of slowing down Tottenham when they have the ball. You know, quite a low block at the moment. 4-4-2, a lowish block.
Spurs probe, look for a way through. Bentancur. Maddison with a twist and a turn. And then it ricochets up, and David Raya will grab the ball. He's sort of half shoved into the net by Solanke. That's a free kick.
Yeah, it didn't go in anyway. It's a definite foul from Solanke. The ball spins in the air, and he's underneath it, David Raya, but Solanke makes contact with him. As soon as he gets the ball in his hands, knocks it out. And the referee's spot on there. But look, I think I've been encouraged by Arsenal the last few minutes. The way that they've got in behind Tottenham Hotspur. We've seen Saka do it. We've seen Martinelli. We saw a great pass from Trossard through the legs of a defender into Jurrien Timber inside the box. He had a shot blocked. So look, Arsenal have had some decent moments in and around the Tottenham final third. This is good pressing.
Yeah, Van de Ven had to get rid, and Saka forces the error.
Well, that will only encourage us even more to close down Spurs. There'll be nerves among them, their ranks as well, of course. You know, there's a lot of pressure on Tottenham today because they've lost 2 derbies in a row here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they're playing a patched-up Arsenal team that's missing 2 of their best players. Just having a look at the replay now, it's a great run from Martinelli, and I just can't believe he takes the shot on too early. What I will say is that Van de Ven's getting across on the cover quite quickly. I still think he can go 2 or 3 yards further, which gives him a much better chance of scoring, don't you?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Saka with a corner for Arsenal here, right-hand side, in-swinger, left-footed again. White waits inside the area. Saliba is there. Partey coming as well, and it comes punched away by Vicario, and on the volley it was Trossard that met it, but it was blocked, and it's come back out towards Bukayo Saka, curls it back inside the area, and the header is into the arms of Vicario. Good pressure from Arsenal again as the Italian keeper spins away and then volleys it downfield, tries to get Kulusevski in here, who battles gamely with Saliba. He's done well initially, but the ball won't spill for Son, thankfully. Arsenal have it again.
Yeah, they did catch us out there with a nice early goal kick, and they were in an uncomfortable position, Saliba and Gabriel. In the end, they sort of smuggled the ball off of the Tottenham man, but that was a little bit nervy. But yeah, look, again, good pressure from Arsenal, a nice ball into the box from Saka. Havertz gets a header on the ball, but it just takes a little nick and loops into the arms of Vicario. But yeah, look, after that bright start from Spurs, I think it is Arsenal that are creating the best opportunities at the moment.
Well, it's been a quick-fire start to this fixture, that is for sure. It's been a game that has seen chances at both ends. Arsenal really on another day could have been in front, but Spurs will point to situations that they've had as well. And in a way, it's a surprise that 24 minutes in, still 0-0.
Yeah, it is a surprise, yeah. Arsenal have racked up 5 shots already, 3 on target. Tottenham have had 2 shots with 1 testing David Raya, that one from Kulusevski from close range. So, you know, I think Arsenal have grown into the half. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, if it continues like this, I think we're going to see goals. Possibly both teams scoring yet again in this fixture.
Yeah, there is that incredible stat, you've probably seen it. There's never been a Premier League 0-0 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, has there? I mean, it's just astonishing, 101 games or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, in the last 49, there's been 1 draw, full stop.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah. It is all or nothing.
But I think a lot of people were tipping up the draw here today, and, you know, I'd be inclined to sort of agree that may be the most likely outcome. So, but it's just one of these grounds. I didn't see many of those.
Pedro Porro got Johnson outside him. Solanke centrally. I would suggest that Solanke might not be 100% fit, but I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. He had that big chance, didn't he, before?
Don't say that, Dan. What are you doing? What are you doing? You jinxed it. But yeah, look, he's coming short a lot, isn't he? Because there's just no space for him to run into. Arsenal deliberately denying Spurs space in behind, setting up quite quite defensively, cautiously, which makes sense.
Johnson down the line, Pedro Porro to the byline, whips in the cross, too close to Raya. Good handling because he was hit at some force to the near post.
No, it's a good play from Porro as well. I think he sees a gap at the near post. He thinks Raya's edging out to claim the cross, and he goes for the shot instead. He reacted well.
Odegaard could be in here for Spurs, taps it towards Solanke, thankfully. A combination of potentially the flag, but certainly was it Saliba did well. Didn't see the flag go up.
It did go up. It wouldn't have counted, but it was good response from Gabriel, wasn't it?
Kulusevski breaking forward, runs into Ben White, and then Saka goes tumbling. That's a poor challenge, free kick.
Yeah.
Yellow card.
I think deservedly. Yeah, Destiny. Look, finally, we get a referee that books a player for a foul on Bukayo Saka early in the game. It's really late.
Challenge.
It's a really late challenge. He steams into him. I was wondering if that might be a dead leg for Bukayo. It's really reckless. That is a worthy card. Saka's had to do a lot of graft in this early stages. He's kind of one-on-one with Destiny Udogie. When Spurs have the ball, he's basically having to track him, and vice versa when we have possession. And I would say that Saka, having got in behind a couple of times, is slightly winning.
Spurs have managed to win it back here, and it's Kulusevski, but Saliba has won it back for Arsenal.
Good tackle.
Gunners. This was their own downfall on a couple of occasions.
That's sloppy from Trossard.
Yeah, giving the ball away. And then it's towards Son on this left-hand side. Arsenal looking a little bit ragged. Need to get players back in position. Son to run at White. Prods it forwards here for Maddison inside the area. Curls towards the far post, and a looping header that drops just wide from Dominic Solanke.
Yeah, David Raya was scrambling there. Did he get a touch on this? We were stretched, weren't we? Maddison does really well, manufactures a bit of space for the cross, and Solanke does out-muscle Gabriel at the far post. It's really strong, Solanke, and that looping header drops about an inch wide of the post. That was close. Good, very, very good effort from the Tottenham new boy.
Never scored against Arsenal, Dom Solanke. Really good season last campaign, of course, with Bournemouth.
Done it again there. Never scored against Arsenal.
I'm going to keep hammering him, don't worry. I must admit, I'm not sure about Solanke. Good player, is he sort of really top drawer? I don't know.
Well, look, in a market that was light on available top line strikers.
The move.
Yeah, I think Spurs needed to try and replace Kane with someone decent. I think they've probably overpaid, but he is a good player. He's an upgrade on Richarlison. So I'm not going to sit here and say that's a bad signing. And look, that was a very, very good effort.
Throw into Arsenal. Ben White will take it just in front of where Mikel Arteta is stationed here. Got the sleeves rolled up, grey slacks and black zip up top. David Raya to punt it long here towards Kai Havertz, who wins the header. It might drop for Martinelli. It will do. Martinelli back towards Havertz, edge of the area. Cleared away. Jorginho makes it his. Does well initially, then runs into trouble. Romero comes out with possession, and Spurs are on the counter here. Kulusevski breaking forward. He's got Johnson with him on the right-hand side. Solanke through the centre, holds it up a little bit. And now Maddison and Bentancur, I should say, will find Destiny Udogie. And now Son on the left-hand side, up against Ben White. The Korean plays it back. Maddison has it again. 35 yards out. Centre left at the moment. Now it's with Bentancur. Side foots it for Romero. Romero back towards Bentancur, who will turn and find Maddison again. Central position, 30 yards out. Spurs inching closer to that Arsenal penalty area. They once again play it to the left-hand side. And Son, and now Udogie, who was in action for Italy in the recent Nations League games. Good win against France and a regulation success over Israel. Came on as a sub in both of those.
Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, Udogie is good. The fullbacks are decent, Spurs.
Pedro Porro and Johnson combining. The Portuguese curls it in towards Solanke. Pops back out towards Son. Son controls and then plays it towards Udogie, taps it in field for Maddison, inside the penalty area, back out towards Son. Arsenal sitting pretty deep here, curled towards the far post, gets too much on that. There's a coming together off the ball involving Timber and Johnson, but that's a goal kick and no more.
Yeah, no, it's an overhit cross, and little tangles are going to happen at the far post. Just looking at Timber here on the replay. Yeah, I think they're both holding one another, really. He's never going to get there anyway. Brennan Johnson, I think they're both holding each other, really. But look, yeah, we've got to settle down again. I mean, it's been a frantic half, hasn't it? It's been breathless stuff. I certainly don't think Arsenal have had as much control as we've had in previous wins here at this stadium in the last 2 seasons, but we have had good opportunities, and that is a source of encouragement.
Saka battling with Maddison, cleared away by Bentancur towards Gabriel, who nods it back towards the penalty area, a penalty area that David Raya had vacated. Thankfully, he scrambles back.
Yeah, luckily there wasn't too much weight on that header. He had plenty of time.
Havertz, good turn under pressure here. Bentancur wins it back unfairly, free kick, and a yellow card.
Yeah, look, it's quite cynical from Bentancur. I think that's a cheap yellow, really. I wouldn't have given that if I was a referee. He turns in brilliantly. Kai Havertz uses his strength. It's just a foul. It's just a foul. Not every foul's a yellow, but we'll accept that, because that's a big yellow, because Bentancur is the only defensive midfielder for Tottenham Hotspur here today, and he's got to be really careful now.
Bentancur not in action for Uruguay in the World Cup qualifiers. I think he was one of those players that was involved in the fracas, wasn't he? Suspended for about 6 months, along with Darwin Nunez and a number of other Uruguayan players.
Yeah.
In the aftermath of the Colombian defeat in the semi-final. Uruguay only drawing, of course, in their latest World Cup qualifier. Here is Saka for Arsenal, and now Ben White. Good ball, perfectly weighted for Martinelli, takes it down first time. Timber has it, edge of the area now. Here is Jurrien Timber. First taste of the North London derby for the Dutchman, but he's played in plenty of Ajax final games in his time, and he's coming forward inside the penalty area here and tries to flick it infield. Romero is in the way, and it's a corner for us.
Look, I'm encouraged by Timber and the way that he's got into really good positions inside the box of Tottenham Hotspur in this first half. That's 2 or 3 times he's got onto the ball in the area. So showing good ambition. It's not just about sitting off today. When we have the ball, we're getting numbers forward, and Timber is very much a part of that.
Arsenal have a corner, left-hand side. No Declan Rice to take it, of course, today. Same type of delivery, good delivery, and bounces in front of Timber, who couldn't react quickly enough to a very tight angle, and it goes out here for a goal kick.
Yeah, he gets a punch on it. He gets a little touch on that.
Should have been a corner.
He gets a touch on this. It is a corner. Yeah, no, well, it's very good officiating actually to spot that.
Yeah, very.
I'll take it all back.
For now.
But that wasn't convincing, and he is definitely questionable on set pieces. Vicario, it's not his strong suit. Hopefully the more corners Arsenal get, the better.
Saka to curl in. Assistant on this near side just making weight, because Gabriel is being spoke with here, as is Romero. Both of them must have been involved in a bit of a tangle off the ball. Romero trying to hold the Brazilian. Argentina versus Brazil. Yeah.
It's a lot of grappling.
Corner taken flat. I think he might have mishit that one, or did he think that there was someone coming towards the edge of the box? I don't know. Anyway, it's knocked back in by David Raya and then nodded away by Kulusevski. Gabriel does well. Infield here towards Trossard. Trossard turns away from Bentancur, does really well. Feeds Martinelli on the left-hand side inside the penalty area. Runs into trouble, loses possession. Spurs have it back. Nearly give it away. Bentancur on the right-hand side. Kulusevski stretches, loses out, does he? Timber is
it's not a
breaking
foul.
forward, and the referee has got a decision to make here with Jurrien Timber. He's going to get a card, I think, and there's a little bit of a fracas behind the goal as well, involving Vicario and Odegaard and Maddison, and all the players suddenly are deciding that they're having a bit of a tear-up as the referee moves away. It all stemmed from Timber's challenge that you thought was all right.
Well, we're a long way away. So let's see. He's given a yellow. We've not seen a replay of it.
I thought he got the ball, it's just whether there was a bit of a follow-through. We're not seeing it again. Pedro Porro's clutching his shin and making a meal of it.
He really is, isn't he? I mean, I sincerely hope, for his sake, Pedro Porro is going to have to leave the field of play here, because if he just gets up and walks off, it's embarrassing. But look, the VAR are talking to him. There's no doubt about that, Jared Gillett. This may be a red card shout.
Well, Stuart Atwell is on VAR duty.
Oh dear, not Stuart Atwell.
You've got it in for the officials today, haven't you? Pedro Porro is still milking it. We're going to get another look at it here on our monitors at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh my, come on! What? There's nothing there.
There's nothing there at all.
There's nothing
and
at
do you know
all
what?
there.
I think it's debatable yellow. You know,
it's not a foul.
You know, he's got the ball. He's got
a yellow.
He's got his foot on top of the ball and he moves away.
It's a shocking decision.
And Pedro Porro's milking it for all it is.
That is pathetic from Porro. Seriously, just take. If I was a manager, just take him off. You're embarrassing everybody here.
It's going to be a free kick. I don't think it's going to be anything else. We're going to see it again here.
There's nothing there. Yeah, it's because he turns his back a little bit, Timber, as part of it, and Vicario confronts him, grabs hold of his shirt, and then I love to see our reaction with Trossard, Havertz and Saka very, very quick to come to the defence of Timber, who really did nothing wrong there.
I think the way that he gets the ball is good. I think Pedro Porro is almost sort of turning, and maybe there's a slight injury, but it's all of his own making. Vicario's got into the book for his reaction for confronting Timber. Timber has got that yellow card. We are going to restart with a Spurs free kick.
Yeah, good. Well, look, there's a lot of yellows already. Feels like a red card could be coming today.
Yeah, well, I like it. We've got 5 yellow cards so far.
Yeah, look, I think 3 have probably been fair. 3 or 4 of them actually. Bentancur was unlucky. I think Timber was very unlucky. So I'm just looking at it.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the challenge.
It's not even a foul.
Sorry, nothing wrong with the way that Timber gets the ball. It's not a foul. He gets the ball. He gets the ball here. We're looking at no super slow on a replay here. Pedro Porro just seems to turn and maybe twist the ankle, but it's nothing to do with Timber.
I don't know why they're showing so many replays. You know, is this something that people think should have been a red? It's bizarre to me.
No chance. But net result, Timber in the book and Vicario in the book as well.
Yeah, he's just won the ball, and the referee's got trigger happy, as he did probably with the Bentancur one and maybe 1 or 2 of the others. So here's what it is: 5 yellows already. How many was there yesterday at the Chelsea game? 16.
Oh, it was a record, wasn't it? It was incredible. I think it was a record.
Yeah, I think it was. It was definitely a record.
I think 15 was a record. It was 16, wasn't it? Which is just
wow. We're on course probably to get something like that today.
Just incredible. You know. We have had 39 minutes here, nearly. Arsenal have possession. No goals, but it's been fairly breathless stuff. It's been blood and thunder. There has been some quality. There's been some chances. Neither side have taken them. Keepers have had to be busy and alert. Defending from both teams, if we're honest, has been a bit loose on occasion.
Definitely. I think Spurs have defended shakily in this first half. Not been particularly sure-footed at all. Arsenal have defended okay, actually. I would suggest, but Spurs do carry a threat. That's obvious.
Spurs have got a goal kick here.
Yeah, I think, you know, Tottenham have got a lot of attacking players in their team, and they are carrying a menace and a threat, but I wouldn't say that we've defended poorly. It's just sometimes could we be a little bit calmer under pressure? I think we've been a touch flustered on occasion, but in general, I think that Arsenal have created the better opportunities in this first half, and they may be unlucky not to be 1-0 up.
Romero is taking his time here, and eventually it's been punted long, and it's going to come straight back to the penalty area, and it's Trossard that suggests that Arsenal have won a corner, and he's right.
He is right, yeah. Yeah, he just chased a hopeful header forward from Ben White. He just sort of knocked it into an area Right, what can Saka do here? Can he beat the first man? Can he deliver a better corner kick? We've had plenty, haven't we, in this first half? I make this corner number 6 for Arsenal. Spurs have had 2.
Again, Arsenal defenders line up far post here, then they move inside that 6-yard area. And it's launched towards the far post. It's taken down here by Martinelli. Looks to ride the challenge, does so. Not once, but twice, and still going forward, then runs into Udogie, who wins it back. And then Martinelli does well to get the block in as the attempted clearance crashes into the shins of the Brazilian.
Great
and Arsenal have it again, yeah.
Great reaction, yeah. As soon as he lost the ball, Martinelli won it back. That's all you can ask for from a wide player. It's brilliant play.
Saka, right-hand side, twisting and turning up against Pedro Porro. The ball flicked in by Partey towards Havertz, looking for Saka, and then somehow a shot, I think, from Havertz. Does he take a deflection? It's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, yeah, it's unlucky, I think, from an Arsenal point of view. It just comes off an Arsenal player. But look, if I'm Ange Postecoglou coming in at half-time, I think I'm asking the question to Van der Ven, to Romero, to Udogie, to Porro, can we be a bit better? Can we defend with a little bit more calm, please, boys? Because Arsenal have certainly caused them a lot of problems.
Good pressure from Havertz again here.
Yeah, pressing's been excellent.
Van der Ven holds off the German and turns, and then Havertz gets the block in. Good pressure.
It just sets the right tone, doesn't it? It's an area of Arsenal's game that's improved massively over the last 2 years. We used to do it sporadically, now we do it as a matter of course, and we're getting better at it all the time. And this is no Odegaard today, remember? You know, he's our star presser. So, yeah, I think that aspect of our game has gone very well.
Here is Jorginho, under pressure from Kulusevski. Spurs win it back, and an opportunity to break with Pedro Porro. He's got Johnson on the right-hand side coming forward, looking to back Timber up here. Brennan Johnson with a shot. Timber sticks to his task. Corner.
Yep, it's good defending, doesn't dive in, just backs himself pace-wise to handle Brennan Johnson, who's really quick. There you see Jorginho gets caught high up the pitch. He can't get back. There's no chance of him getting back. That's why Arsenal are stretched. But I like the defending from Yuri and Timber. It's really intelligent. But they do have a corner, Spurs.
Hasn't scored since April, Brennan Johnson, and a 1-1 away draw at West Ham. In comes the corner towards the near post. Havertz is there again to clear. Scored against Hungary, didn't he, Kai Havertz, in the 5-0 win on international duty. Maddison will recycle.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd just advise Jorginho to sort of hold his ground a little bit more. Again, he's gone quite advanced here, looking to win the ball from Maddison on halfway, but I think I want him patrolling the back four. I just want him sitting there because they've got dangerous players running down the centre of the pitch, Tottenham. I don't think it serves a lot of purpose putting Jorginho too advanced.
Van der Ven turns the ball back towards Vicario, who decides to punt it long. Solanke backing in, does well initially. Kulusevski to take it down under pressure from Timber. Timber wins it perfectly and comes forward on the left-hand side up against Pedro Porro. That's a Spurs throw. Taken by Pedro Porro. And now it's with Romero. And eventually Bentancur. And now Van der Ven inside the centre circle, inside the Spurs half. Tottenham play the ball between their two centre-backs again before pushing it over wide left. And Son, the Korean, into the final third, comes forward for Tottenham. Now it's with Van der Ven, Maddison, and then Bentancur, and eventually Pedro Porro. And now it's with Johnson on the right-hand side. Solanke waits inside the penalty area. Threaded through for Son, edge of the box. Moving from left to right. Can't pull the trigger, can't turn, has to go back outside the area again. Now it's with Bentancur. Van der Ven wasn't really expecting that. Now it's Udogie. And then Maddison caught in possession. Arsenal win it back. Trossard Shields loses out, Spurs win it back, Maddison and then Kulusevski on the move, and then the shot fired in, but Johnson's effort is over the crossbar.
Yeah, he's leaning back, Brennan Johnson. It's a really poor shot from him. Trossard wins it initially, then there's 3 white players around him. He can't get hold of the ball. They're very strong, actually. Kulusevski does great. Steals the ball off him and slips the pass to Kulusevski to Brennan Johnson, and yeah, it's an unconvincing strike from him.
Yeah, not sure about that from Johnson. Leaning back, going over. Not the worst angle and fairly close in. That's why he's not scored this season, or indeed for quite some time. 3 minutes of added on the time, incidentally, that we are now into at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Awkward header from Gabriel. Son battles with White. White wins the aerial duel. It'll pop out for Saka, and then White has it, plays it down the line, takes a deflection. Van der Ven clears out. Is it Trossard who's gone down? There's going to be a yellow card here and a free kick. The yellows is...
It's 2 yellows for Spurs in quick succession.
One for yeah, Van der Ven definitely for the first challenge. And then, has Kulusevski got one as well?
Yeah, Kulusevski's got one for the second challenge. This, you see, that's what I said about Jarred Gillett. Obviously, it's not worked out against Arsenal so far in the game, but he's an inexperienced official in big games. And I think he has let this occasion get the better of him. He's got fired up unnecessarily, and he's dishing out yellows for fun. I don't think either of those... Well, the first one maybe from Van der Ven. Trossard nicks in front of him. It's a bit reckless. And the second one is cynical from Kulusevski on Jorginho, but for me, not a yellow. So, look, Spurs really are sort of having to tread a fine line now, aren't they?
I'm just making sure I knew what the record was with Anthony Taylor yesterday. 14.
14.
And that is a Premier League record. So now we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players so far. So the record's on.
It's on. It's on. Yeah, look, it's a feisty derby, this. But
seen worse.
Yeah, well, we've definitely seen worse, and I don't think it's been a 7 yellow card game.
No way.
He's basically trying to eradicate physicality from this game, the referee, and that's near on impossible.
Good luck with that in the North London derby. Into added on time here significantly, but Arsenal have got a free kick. Can they make good use of it here? It's going to be Trossard to curl it inside the penalty area, nod it up into the air, and then Johnson will knock it long to the halfway line. Son is chasing this down. Timber turns away from the Korean, then left-footed plays it back over the top, but Partey won't get to that, and it spins through for Vicario, and that might be the half. It is. Well, no goals in the opening 45 minutes here. Certainly chances, AD. Martinelli had a very good effort, or good opportunity. The effort wasn't quite so good from inside the penalty area. Havertz with a header. Arsenal have got themselves in good areas, but Spurs will point to opportunities as well. Jarred Gillett is making the headlines with 7 yellow cards. Sum up the opening 45 for us.
Breathless, frantic, aggressive, and even. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. I don't think there's been a lot between the two sides. I'm more encouraged as an Arsenal fan that we're able to carve open Tottenham's defence with a little bit more ease than they're able to open up us. But on those fast breakaways, they carry a real threat, don't they, Tottenham Hotspur? There's no doubt about that. 5 shots apiece. The XG is pretty much identical. It's all to play for, Dan, and I'm excited to see what comes. But yeah, I think Arsenal, after a slightly shaky start, grew into the half, and I think they can be relatively pleased with their efforts. They're in the game, and I think they got a foothold whether we can go on and win this match.
No goals in the opening 45 minutes here, but of course there has been some crackers in North London derbies over the years. We're going to leave you with some of the best before we're back for the second half. In around about 6 or 7 minutes' time, we'll be back with you.
Alexis Sanchez. Whipped in by Cazorla. Danny Welbeck. It must be! Have equalised through Alex. And Arsenal have levelled it up 1-1. The fans have gone mad. And Arsenal have levelled it up 1. Great strike. Terrific finish into the top corner. Oxlade-Chamberlain.
see, and it was a talking point at the end of the first half for us. 7 yellow cards here in a North London derby. Look, it's been physical, and you said aggressive. That's all true. I don't think it's been over the top. Yes, we had a little bit of a melee and a coming together of players, but it was nothing necessarily out of the ordinary. But the referee, I don't necessarily give himself a problem here, because he will say, well, as far as I'm concerned, every single caution was deserved. But look, let's hope that this stays 11 versus 11.
Yeah,
or if there is a red, it'll be a Spurs
yeah,
that gets sent off. But it's an issue now, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, referees would tell you, or a lot of referees would tell you, that you just got to referee the game no matter what sort of game it is. Whether it's a derby, whether it's top three, bottom, you've got to ref it as you see it. I don't agree with that. I think in derbies, you've got to allow a little bit more leeway. You've got to understand that this is a match that's going to be more aggressive than a lot of other fixtures. The atmosphere, for a start, will make it that. And therefore, I think referees need to be a bit more wary about giving cards early on in the game, because you will find it near on impossible to stop aggression in these kind of matches. And you know what? As supporters, whether we win or lose, whether it's Arsenal or Spurs, I want to see a hostile derby. I want to see tackles flying in. I want to see a bit of animosity. You've got to let things go a little bit more in matches like this, in my opinion. Dangerous tackles, of course, you punish them. But I think Jarrett Gillett has let the game get to him a little bit.
2 teams are out, and we'll be underway for the second half very shortly indeed. Spurs have gone on to win their previous 2 Premier League games against Arsenal, when it's been goalless at half-time. 2-0 back in April 2017 and 1-0 back in Feb 2018, after not winning any of the previous 12 when he's been scoreless at the break. 3 defeats and 9 draws in that sequence here. We know that draws, and indeed nil-nil draws, are very, very rare when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm sure we're going to get goals in this second half. Are we going to see anything differently tactically? Do you think that Mikel Arteta will again sort of concede possession? Will Ange Postecoglou try and change something? As far as we can see here, just looking at the players, there's no changes in terms of personnel. Do we think it will be same again for the opening 10 or 15?
I do. Arsenal's bench today is obviously a little bit weakened. A lot of players out injured, so not as many options as you'd expect for Mikel Arteta. The 2 standouts, of course, are Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling, both of whom could come on the left. So from Gabriel Martinelli, I'm looking to have a very active and impressive first 10 or 15 here. Otherwise, you know what the first change might be.
Gets set for the second half. No goals in the first North London derby of the season after 45 minutes. But the second 45, sure to be a test of nerve, a test of quality and mental strength here. Certainly both of these 2 sides, we know, have got an awful lot of quality when it comes to the personnel on show as we get this second half started. Who can just eke out that key chance and, more importantly, take it? We've started, and Arsenal have got a throw. Timber down towards Gabriel, and now Partey in between the 2 centre-halves and back towards Saliba, and eventually to Gabriel once again. Here is Jorginho with a touch towards Timber on this left-hand side. Right-footed ball forward, and then just guided down by Trossard for Martinelli. Does well to keep it in play. Looks to flick it infield for Havertz. Romero's in the way. Trossard has it again on the left-hand side. Flicks it through for Martinelli. Saka calling for it, but Vicario gets down. Saka was racing inside the area. Chance gone.
Oh, good play. Trossard's been pretty good at that today in that Odegaard role, just feeding passes in behind for Martinelli. It's the right idea, just need to be more pace on the cross from Martinelli for it to get past Vicario to reach Bukayo Saka. It wasn't hit that hard, and it allowed the goalkeeper the time to come out and make the claim. But again, it's Martinelli getting into a very, very advanced position.
Pedro Porro plays it back for Romero. Side foots it to the right-hand side, and Johnson, under pressure from Timber, plays it back towards Romero. And now back towards Vicario. That is for a second, but then decants towards Van de Ven and pushes it long for Son, but White's got the move matched, and the referee's going to hold play here. I think Son was coming back from an offside position, therefore it's going to be a free kick. Arsenal, is it? Oh, Saka's got his arms out. I'm not quite sure what the decision is here.
Yeah, it's an offside. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of a job's worth. piece of officiating, really, just to bring the play back. I don't think anyone really cared. That might have been offside. I think he could have played on. Ben White's just trying to take it inside the Spurs half, which would have been impossible for an offside decision.
Arsenal, of course, start their Champions League campaign in midweek. It's a bit of a curiosity. It's the Champions League game on a Thursday. We'll be covering the game for you in Bergamo. Atalanta against Arsenal. Atalanta had such a terrific season last term, of course, with that Europa League success, beating Bayer Leverkusen, only team to do so last season in all competitions. Won't be easy. Spurs have it with Johnson. Clipped inside the area, diving header. Wide of the target, Solanke doesn't get that right. Does it come off for an Arsenal player? Corner.
Yeah, Jorginho gets caught on the ball. It's Solanke, I think, that wins it off of him. It is. He feeds it to Brennan Johnson, who clips a nice ball in, actually, and Solanke gets on the end of it. But Jorginho's got to be careful. Like, he gave away a goal at Emirates Stadium last year, losing the ball inside his own half, almost contributed to a goal there. He's got to take less touches, Jorginho. They see him as a weak link.
Maddison to curl in, and the header down from Van de Ven is saved by David Raya. Comfortable save, but maybe should have done better with the header, I don't know.
Oh, that's a really good run, though, isn't it?
It's good.
The way he runs across markers, he just peels away from Ben White.
Arsenal punts it towards Saka. Van de Ven back to the day job of defending, does well, and then Maddison is hauled down by Jorginho, who gets a yellow card, and the record is on.
Yeah, it's another one. For me, Jorginho is just a little bit too eager there, trying to steal the ball ahead of Maddison, not quite strong enough. Maddison rolls him, and then he does bring him down. So again, but the referee's booked everyone for doing that kind of foul today, so you had to give another one. You know, it's just a foul, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to caution every single incident like that.
Yeah, but once you start, it can't really stop. So yeah, this is in danger, really, of getting away from the referee.
We restart. Pedro Porro looking for Kulusevski. Jorginho trying to get back. Kulusevski with a cross. It's a poor cross, and Gabriel was in the way. And now Martinelli's on the move, and it's Pedro Porro who slides in.
Well, there again, it's Jorginho, isn't it? It's a player running off of him. They've opened up the space really cleverly, Spurs, by pulling someone wide, leaving a hole there, and Kulusevski charges into it. And of course, he's going to get there before Jorginho. So I'd say Spurs have started this second half better, and they're certainly looking to prey on the Italian.
Yeah, Arsenal in Champions League action next week. The Europa League for Spurs doesn't start until the next European midweek fixture list. They have the less glamorous tie against Karabag at home in their Europa League group. Ferencváros, AZ, Galatasaray, Roma, Rangers, Hoffenheim and Elfsborg. Arsenal, bigger fish to fry with the Champions League, of course. Look forward to that. New system, new way of doing things. Arsenal aiming to finish in the top 8. It's going to be key.
Yeah, the draw was good, wasn't it? A lot of good matches.
Kulusevski coming forward for Tottenham. Cross comes in, guided behind by Ben White. Safety first corner, Tottenham.
Yeah, you can't take any risks. It's been a really slow start to the second half from Arsenal. It's not what Mikel Arteta would have wanted at all. Yeah, and it's, you know, these are nervy moments. We're certainly on the ropes here.
Spurs corner, left-hand side, going to be taken by Maddison. Son is urged to move away. 5 in white inside the penalty area. Solanke, Romero, Van de Ven look for a bit of room. And it comes nodded away by Havertz. Such a good defender, isn't he, in situations like that. Van de Ven has it now. He runs into Partey. Partey finds Martinelli, who will clear for Trossard. Trossard does well.
Well played.
Plays it back towards Martinelli. Martinelli here for Timber. Timber to clear, but it's blocked by Pedro Porro, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, the tails are up for Spurs. They're playing with more aggression, no doubt about that. I think that Ange Postecoglou's he's demanded that of his team. Let's get in the face of Arsenal. Let's win it high up the pitch. Let's get our fans really onside here and make it difficult for Arsenal, and that ploy is working. We're being pinned back, we can't get out of our own half.
Timber to take a throw. It didn't go out for a goal kick after all. Timber steals a yard or two, doesn't matter. Throws it long for Martinelli. And now Havertz, it hits Romero. It's out for a throw, pretty much on the halfway line here. Yeah. Mikel Arteta acts as ball boy. Timber takes his time.
Yeah, these are the moments we've got to get our breath back. We've got to slow it down. We've got to keep the ball and make Spurs chase.
Here is Saliba, moving towards the halfway line. Pushes it forward for White. White looks for Saka. Saka just inside the Tottenham half on the right flank. Here is Saliba once again. White has moved further forward right flank. Spurs holding a highish line here. Arsenal still have possession. Saliba under pressure. Ben White loses possession. Son has it. Saliba wins it back. Spurs throw.
Yeah, Ben White looked a bit on edge today. There's one or two uncharacteristic mistakes from him. He's got his hands full, obviously, looking after Son Heung-min, but yeah, just one or two lapses from him today. Normally he loves these kind of occasions, Ben White, of course. I'm sure he is enjoying it, but yeah, he's just not quite at his very best.
Son, Spurs have it centrally. Maddison curls it back towards Romero, gets a ripple of applause from the Spurs supporters, and then Romero tries to play forward for Pedro Porro, but though the idea was good, the execution was off, thankfully, and it's gone all the way through towards David Raya. Yeah, Atalanta first for Arsenal, then Paris Saint-Germain, Shakhtar, Inter, Sporting, both those two away. Monaco, and Dinamo Zagreb and Girona being an interesting one to finish with. In January, they face Barcelona today. They've lost one or two players, but they bought one or two as well. Coach is still there, Michel. Really good campaign, not just to qualify for the Champions League for the first time, but for Europe for the first time. Incredible.
I like that. I quite like the look of the new format. Let's see. I was sceptical at first, but it's served up some great matches.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Here is Kulusevski. Easily intercepted by Gabriel. Shows good strength there. Now Timber. Martinelli, left-hand side. Havertz was on the move. Can't quite spot the run of Havertz, or at least find him. Now it's with Timber. Good challenge from Romero to win it back. Here is Johnson under pressure from Martinelli. Ball goes out of play for a Spurs throw. And Romero's gone down, and he looks to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's a hip flexor, isn't it? He's just rubbing it. He did lunge in there, didn't he? He made a desperate attempt to block the cross from Jurrien Timber. It worked because he put a block in, but as he damaged his muscle in the process. I mean, they got Dragusin on the bench if they need him, but I'm sure he won't want to come off here, Romero, if he can help it. No, he says I'm all right.
Did score in the win here against Everton. Aside from Atalanta, Arsenal's Champions League opponents a few years ago, the Argentine. Part of the squad that won the Copa America, of course, in the summer in the United States. Spurs fans sense that there could be some derby success today. Home support you can hear. Arsenal fans tucked in a corner. Here is Saliba. Short for Ben White. The pressure from Son and from Solanke. Knocks it back towards David Raya. David Raya for Jorginho. And now Saliba. Here is Ben White. Spurs pressing in numbers. Arsenal backing themselves to play through it. But then Saka goes down. Nothing given, and Spurs have it.
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere, isn't it? I think you're right. The home support do sense that their team have a great chance of winning this game. Arsenal's certainly not been at it second half as yet.
Spurs lose possession. Partey for Timber, and then flicked here for Havertz, and Martinelli's with him, and Saka to the right. Martinelli looking to use his pace. Van de Ven, who else has got the pace to come across and deal with the danger?
Yeah, I mean, that speed is such an asset to Spurs, because most teams, he's in there, but he gets across so quick on the cover. He makes up for some really quite average defending, Van de Ven, with that speed, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's very, very quick. Can get caught out, but if you've got the pace to get back in position, does it matter? In comes the delivery from the right-hand side towards Martinelli, too close to Vicario, who comes and claims. And Spurs will look to pay it out from the back once again. Here is Vicario. Now it's with Van de Ven. Havertz and Trossard making life difficult. Romero, the ball pops up.
Well, look, yeah, this is what Arsenal are going to do. You know, we had some success with the press in the first half. Tottenham's players didn't look comfy. They've played through that one, though.
Yeah, they have. This is Johnson, right-hand side. Up against Timber, still Brennan Johnson inside the penalty area. Low ball in, here's Gabriel, corner.
Yeah, you see, that is the danger of going to press. If they play through, you get stretched. And Timber, again, did okay. He did a good job of not committing himself here in the 1v1 with Brennan Johnson. It's a really difficult position for the left-back. And really, the ball in his D6, it's in a good area. It could have gone anywhere off of Gabriel. It's gone behind for the corner. Oh, a lot of aggression inside that box.
Yeah, Son trying to get half a yard. In comes the delivery. The referee's going to say, take it again. Trossard, Son being spoken with by the referee. We've been talking about yellow cards over the course of the game, unfortunately, and obviously the 14 given in the Bournemouth-Chelsea game yesterday. Our friends from Opta have told us that is 60 across the weekend so far, most in a single Premier League match day, surpassing the 59 from match day 5 from last year. Still got a game to come after this. Corner eventually taken short. Pedro Porro then right-footed, kills it towards the far post, but it's overhit. Solanke can keep it in play. No, he can't.
He's worked hard, Solanke, today. He's dropped in and pressed well, and he's looked to get involved. Had that one chance with a header that went just wide. What are Spurs going to do? Obviously on the bench they got Timo Werner, Wilson Odegaard. They're the two main attacking options for them.
David Raya. Here is Gabriel. Now it's with Timber. Forwards here for Havertz. Martinelli
well played
towards Timber, and Trossard's free inside the penalty area. First time ball is cleared away by Van de Ven. Ball needed to be better. Tend to think it was probably the right thing to do to try and play it first time.
It's a long pass, wasn't it? I would have liked to see Timber maybe travel with it further. He was away down the left in the clear. Yes, Trossard was free in the middle, but the ball had to travel a long way, and Spurs intercepted it well.
Here's Johnson, right-hand side, coming forward inside the penalty area. On his left side, the shot is weak and easily saved by David Raya. Gaps appearing, fatigue setting in, maybe.
Definitely. And Timber has been left isolated, hasn't he? 1v1 twice now in as many minutes. Lucky really there that Brennan Johnson shot with his left foot was so weak. But yeah, look, on those kind of breakaways, we've got to make the right decisions, haven't we? And I think Martinelli, as well as he's played at times today, in those key moments, he maybe hasn't always made the right choice. Certainly not with the shot in the first half, maybe there with the pass as well. Although that was Timber actually who went down the left on that occasion. But in general, Martinelli, I think, could make slightly better decisions.
Pedro Porro for Tottenham spins away from Martinelli, plays it to the right-hand side. Johnson against Timber, but David Raya spots it and thumps it out of play.
Yeah, no messing. But sometimes, you know, you've got to go direct, and Spurs have sensed that. Here's a 2v1 on Timber as well. Does well, the Dutchman. But yeah, I think he's looking for a little bit more support here. Our left back. I think he might be saying to Martinelli, to Jorginho, can you just get across and help me a little bit here, guys?
Pedro Porro will take the throw. 12 yards away from the corner flag, right-hand side. The Portuguese will throw it inside the penalty area. Martinelli will tap it away. Is that going out for a flag kick? I think it has. Just.
Yeah, that was an unnecessary one from Gabriel Martinelli. He sort of panicked a little bit, and that could have been easily put out for a throw-in. Maddison, very good, isn't he, on these kind of situations? It'd be an outswinger from him.
Maddison gets ready to take. Romero inside the penalty area. Solanke waits. Bentancur is up there as well. Johnson likewise. Van de Ven up from the back. 5 in and around the 6-yard box. In comes the delivery. Seems to hit Romero in the face. Cleared away.
Yeah, we'll take that. But look, the attack isn't over. Got more defending to do here.
Pedro Porro to curl in again. My fall here for Johnson with a shot. It's a good block from Gabriel. Spins back out to Maddison. Curls back in. Clears away once more. And then Trossard puts the laces through it. Has Havertz got the pace here? He's up against Van de Ven. Van de Ven is across quickly. But that's a clever ball for Martinelli. Martinelli under pressure plays it for Saka. Saka against Udogie. Trossard's on the overlap. Saka with a shot. Hits Pedro Porro. Saka might get another go under pressure here from Son now, as Saka looks to drive to the byline, looks to get the cross in, corner, and in front of the Arsenal fans, suddenly there's a cheer from the Gooner support.
Oh, that was a good break. Really good play from Kai Havertz. Excellent defending as well. Gabriel block inside the box, and we saw Thomas Partey get his head on a cross. Really good from both of those guys. Then we break via Havertz, and I think we worked it really nicely to Saka via Martinelli. On the 1v1, you expect Saka to bend it in the bottom corner, don't you? It's well blocked. But from the second phase, Bakayo wins the corner for us. And yeah, right in front of the Arsenal supporters, this would be a sweet moment were we to score.
Saka to take the corner, left-footed, just past the hour at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the North London derby. And the kind of star boy gets ready to curl in. Party far post, Havertz makes a move towards the near, curled in, good delivery, Nottingham by Gabriel from close range. Arsenal lead in the North London derby. The cross from Saka was perfect, and the bullet header from close range likewise. And it's Gabriel that breaks the deadlock at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1.
Oh, glorious goal! What a header from Gabriel. He nearly breaks the net here. It's a one-on-one. Him, Vivo Romero. Who wants it most? Gabriel does. The ball in is perfect from Saka. He's 4 yards out, unmarked. You cannot give Gabriel that kind of space inside the 6-yard box. He is a master at it. What a moment for Arsenal in front of their own supporters at that end of the pitch.
Well, Gabriel gets his first goal of the season. It's his first goal in a North London derby. And this is a defender that puts his body on the line for Arsenal week in, week out. The most wholehearted defender you will see, the most committed defender you will see. And he pops up with some key goals. That is goal number 15 in the Premier League, incidentally, for Gabriel. And it is a massive one up the road against Tottenham. Big, big goal. And Arsenal, having been maybe second best since the restart, have the advantage.
Yeah, definitely second best since the restart, but that was a brilliant counter-attack that took us up the pitch. And then finally we made the most of a set piece. We said Vicario is not a dominant presence inside his own box from dead ball situations, and so it proved there. It's a one-on-one. It's man-on-man. Who wants it most? And Gabriel got away from Romero too easily. If I'm Ange Postecoglou, I'm fuming at Romero, but we're delighted with the way that Gabriel attacked that cross. It's a great ball in as well from Saka, as you'd expect.
Well, the opening goal in the London derby has come late, usually comes early. And we know that this is a game that if you do get the first goal, you're not guaranteed to win, but this feels different. The game state is different. Where we are in the match is different. But still, it is still that fixture that can turn one way or another.
Oh, it's work to be done. Don't worry about that. This game is not over. But Arsenal have something to protect now. And, you know, a lot of clean sheets on the road, and that will give us confidence that we can see the job through.
Haven't been behind away from home this calendar year in the Premier League. It's astonishing, isn't it? It's just a brilliant record.
It's an amazing record, and one that we should feel very, very proud of. But if we can win this game with the players missing, you know, what a boost that is going into the City test.
Last time that Arsenal were beaten on the road, of course, was New Year's Eve. Fulham. 2-1 defeat after Saka scored early. Spurs are making changes here. No real surprise that alterations are required. Who are we seeing? Papa Sarr's coming on, and Benton Corey's coming off. And who else is about to be introduced?
Odegaard.
Yeah, it's Odegaard. He's interesting prospect, isn't he? Signed from Burnley. Johnson's coming off.
Yeah, I was at Luton Burnley earlier on this season, and Odegaard scored for Burnley. He's made the move to Spurs and made a really good early impression, actually. He's a real talent. He's quick, like Brennan Johnson. So look, it's just they're two like-for-like changes, really. But look, can Arsenal get themselves a cushion of a second here? Wouldn't that be nice? That's a corner, isn't it? No.
Well,
I think it was.
Furious, yeah. Havertz claiming it should have been a corner. 23 goals from set pieces since the start of last season in the Premier League. Arsenal now most of any team. And Arsenal have won it back again. This is Jorginho coming forward on the left-hand side, but won back by Papa Sarr.
Yeah, our press has been terrific in the game, no doubt about that. But Jorginho, I don't want to pick on Jorginho, but I think he's found the pace of this game really difficult. You know, you've got to be super fit, you've got to cover, and he is fit, but you've got to be athletic, I think, to play in games like this, and in the way that he's trying to play it, I think he's found it quite tough at times, Jorginho. But look, we find ourselves ahead.
Timber a little sloppy, but Pedro Porro can't take the pace off the attempted clearance, and he goes out for an Arsenal throw, thankfully. 21 minutes remaining in the North London derby, so plenty of time left here. Will Arsenal require a second to get over the line and pick up a massive 3 points? Second is always welcome. Throw in here for Tottenham as Romero leaves it for Pedro Porro.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Mikel wants to do here. No obvious sign that he's about to make a change, but yeah, I think Sterling's obviously an option, as is Gabriel Jesus, and I just wonder, maybe getting a Wanyeri in there maybe might work for us. But there's no one really to step in for Jorginho or Partey if they're breathing heavy, is there? Miles Lewis Skelly, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a difficult game.
It's a big test to come into. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Spurs coming forwards. Cross comes in from the left-hand side, but it's easily dealt with.
Oh, it's lovely football.
Saliba. Now it's with Jorginho. Saliba again. Son, who's been relatively quiet in this second half, despite the fact that Spurs have played that a little bit better. This is Saliba, and now Jorginho.
Played.
Getting out of a tight situation over to the left-hand side, and Urian Timber. Timber spins away from Odegaard, plays it into space. Good running from Martinelli, who was offside just.
Oh, that is a shame, because it was really clever from Timber. He spun beautifully. Oh, look at this. Look at the shirt. It's been absolutely ripped. There's a huge, great hole in Trossard's black shirt there. Incredible. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that was a shame, because it was a nice move developing from Arsenal. Oh, it's nice for Spurs to wait for Trossard to get back on.
Well, I presume it was one of their players that ripped his shirt.
Yeah.
Usually swap shirts at the end of the game, not during. Spurs have possession. Van der Ven on the halfway line, and there are 16 minutes remaining in the North London derby. Sarr coming forward, and now it's with Pedro Porro centrally to the right-hand side. Odegaard has it, short ball inside the area for Son, but the ball from Son is poor, and groans from the Spurs fans around us.
Yeah, and that's good. That will give Arsenal's players a little bit more energy, maybe, hearing the moans and groans. It might inhibit the Tottenham players as well. We're starting to feel the pressure here. I mean, we are under the cosh, there's no doubt about that. And most of this second half has been played inside our half.
Maddison. Doggy. Now it's with Romero.
Just look at the stats though, with 47% of the ball this half, so we've had it. That backs up what I just said about how we've looked after it a little bit better, a bit more calmness. But our territory has certainly been Tottenham's since the restart.
Sarr centrally finds Son, who's drifted infield. Now it's with Van der Ven. Clip to the left-hand side. Spurs coming forwards here. The ball is whipped in here. It's towards Solanke. I'm not quite sure what he's suggesting there, Solanke. Does he want a penalty? He goes to ground with Gabriel. There's nothing in that.
There's nothing in it. It's a great ball in, actually, from Maddison. And it's a bit low, I guess, for him to dive at. He could dive at it. But basically, Gabriel just out-muscles him, just gets his body between himself and the ball. And there's just no way through for Dominic Solanke. There's no foul.
Saliba turns away from Son. Raya outside of his area, punts it long. Havertz underneath it, lets it bounce, moves away from Romero, takes it down, then it hits Romero, and Arsenal have a throw.
Yeah, superb.
Yeah, tenacious.
Yeah, well, it was a great ball, actually, from David Raya, and then the touch from Havertz was exquisite. And we're where we want to be, up in that right corner where the Arsenal supporters are sat, or most of them have stood, actually.
Ben White. Saka through to White, takes it first time, flicks it for Trossard, whose touch was poor. The flag is up, and Arsenal are denied.
Yeah, this is tight.
It's White rather than Trossard, wasn't it? He was off.
It was White. It was a leg. It was offside. He's unlucky. It's a nice move, though, wasn't it? Lovely triangle over on that right-hand side. You know, we have opened up Tottenham when we've got into those areas, quite comfortably, really.
Sarr. This is Pedro Porro. 13 minutes remaining. Odegaard. Infield for Sarr, centrally. Now it's with Maddison. Everyone behind the ball for Arsenal at the moment. Udogie. This is Son. Against White, plays it back for Maddison, knocks it long to the far post. That was a poor ball from Maddison. Thought for a second he might have taken a deflection. He just got underneath it, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a shocker. Shocker from him. Timo Werner's warming up. Jorginho, I think, is cramping up. I mean, referee, I think, is telling him to hurry up, but I mean, if you're cramping up, you need to sort it out. Yeah, I just wondered, Jorginho, not a lot of action. No. I think he's saying to the bench, I'm all right. But there is going to be a double change from Arsenal. I don't think Jorginho's going to come off here.
Can Havertz slip into midfield, do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure, but
it's his first action of the season.
Yes,
hasn't played since playing for Italy at the Euros.
Yeah,
and has only played 90 minutes once since April, and that was for his country.
Yeah,
and only completed 90 for Arsenal once in the calendar year, calendar year. So look, you know, the minutes and the legs aren't there.
No, I did read a fascinating stat actually during the week from Opta that Jorginho and Partey had only actually played 46 minutes alongside one another.
Crazy because of Partey's injury, I guess.
Yeah, and they'd never started alongside each other in the Premier League. So, you know, they've done pretty well as a pair, all things considered.
So changes here. First for Arsenal, Maddison coming off, Werner coming on, I presume.
Yeah,
so that's going to be different in terms of tactics, isn't it? That.
Well, they've got a lot of wingers on the pitch at the moment.
Are there going to be two through the middle, maybe? Who else?
Yeah, Son will probably join. Son will probably join. It'd be 4-2-4 maybe, or something like that.
And the double change here for Arsenal. Trossard first of all to come off. I thought he's been better in the second half than the first, Trossard.
Yeah, no, I think he's had some good moments, especially a little prod passes through for Martinelli, some nice little flicks.
Martinelli going to come off, a more natural change, I guess. So Jesus on and Sterling on to make his Arsenal debut.
Yeah, who's gonna play at 10 then? Is it Sterling?
Well, and then play
Jesus on the left. So you've taken off your left winger and your number 10. It looks to me like Raheem Sterling wearing the 30 shirt. No, Jesus has gone up front. And
Sterling's gone left, has he? Havertz.
Let's have a look. We'll have to assess it when the team get back into their shape. I think Havertz has gone into the 10 role. And Jesus has gone up top.
Yeah.
And Sterling's come on the left.
So it's by no means a defensive move, is it really, when you look at it like that?
It's not a defensive move, no. But it's fresh legs at a time when we need it. You know, this has been hard work. This is, you know, it's tiring just watching.
Yeah, it's a curious formation at the minute.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed. I think Jesus is the striker and that Havertz is your Trossard, number 10. I think that's what's happened, but they're both behind the ball as we speak.
Odegaard cuts inside of Sterling, plays it short. Sarr for Kulusevski. Son lets it run cleverly. Pedro Porro to curl in towards the far post. There's nobody arriving, and Saka will hook to safety. Van de Ven battling away with Havertz. That's got to be a free kick. Well, Havertz goes down.
Yeah, he gives a free kick there. He has to send him off. He doesn't want to. That's a free kick. I'm sorry.
Spurs have it. Pedro Porro looking to whip in the ball. Oh, now then the challenge there from Gabriel. And this is Sarr with a shot that's wide.
It's a great challenge from Gabriel. It's a great challenge. Inside the box, clean as a whistle.
Going to have another look at it here on our monitors as it was whipped in. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Really good challenge. Solanke's not really looking for the pen, is he really?
No.
Gabriel gets there first. Brilliant.
Yeah, superb. He's hunting down the Arsenal defenders today, isn't he, Solanke? I think he's putting a real good shift, the Spurs striker. But we don't really care about that. It's about the score. And it's about Arsenal keeping this clean sheet now, isn't it? Into the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, 8 remaining here. Plus added on time. Werner's first touch. Van de Ven, left-hand side. And Spurs have got a throw just inside the Arsenal half on the left flank here. Werner wants to take it quickly. He's going to leave it for Odegaard. So changes made for both teams.
Yeah, so Son's gone into sort of a number 10 position. Kulusevski. Yeah, I can't really work out the Spurs formation. There's just a lot of forwards on the pitch.
Odegaard is one of them, and he's got it at the moment. He's coming forward on the right-hand side, inside the penalty area. It's cleared away. It's going to come back out towards Romero here. And Romero finds Odegaard. And now Sarr centrally towards Odegaard. Kulusevski on the left-hand side. Son has certainly changed. That is for true. That is for sure. This is Werner, I should say. And now it's Romero. Arsenal just standing off. Son with a flick round the corner for Kulusevski. It's cleared.
Yeah, Gabriel clears it. I mean, Gabriel and Saliba have played ever so well today.
Yeah, I think Gabriel, you're looking at man of the match.
Yeah, Gabriel's been so good.
Werner to run at Ben White. Clips it inside the penalty area. Timber thumps it away.
Yeah.
Good connection on that.
Very good. I think Timber's handled the occasion well. You know, not easy for him. Saka just sits on the deck. Is he okay? Let's hope so. Again, I think good game management this. Just take the heat out of the situation.
Yeah, it's clever from Saka.
Yeah, look. Sometimes it's got to be. I was at a game yesterday at Watford. The goalie did it. They were under pressure against Coventry. Watford. The goalie goes down for 5 minutes stoppage, and that pressure fades away, and the whole pattern of the game changes. Yeah. And sometimes you've got to do these things. I mean, I'm sure that he is feeling something. He's feeling his left thigh.
Yeah.
It might be that dead leg. Maybe a dead leg from earlier when he got clattered. Might have been stiffening up a little bit. But yeah, looking at the second half stats, Spurs 6 shots to our 2, 3 on target. You know, they've had 15 touches in our box, we've had 3 in theirs. It's, you know, Spurs have really pushed us back second half. But the big moment was from that corner. And will it be the decisive moment?
Such a good connection from close in. Vicario had no chance whatsoever. Brilliant strike. Another goal from a set piece for Arsenal. And it may well be the goal that settles the North London derby, the first of this 24-25 campaign, and shuttles Arsenal up to second in the table.
Oh, let's hope so. There's going to be a lot of injury time, though.
I mean, this is it. I mean, you know, time is added on now. We are going to see another change. Ethan Nwaneri is ready to come on. Well, you suggested that we might see him.
And it is for Saka. So, look, Saka, maybe that wasn't just game management. Maybe he is feeling something, which is obviously a concern. With City next week. But Ethan Nwaneri, what a chance for him. What an opportunity for him to shine. Jesus, I think, will go to the right. And Ethan will play that Odegaard position.
Absolutely right. Big match to come into. He has got a little bit of Premier League experience, of course, with that debut at 15 against Brentford. He came on as a sub against West Ham last season. Here he is, Nwaneri. And it's going to be a free kick for Spurs. Werner was caught.
Yeah, Jesus, slightly lazy challenge, and this is not an easy situation. Porro over the ball, lovely angle for him, right-footed. Just bend this towards the far post. These are hard to defend.
Pedro Porro to take the free kick. Curled towards Romero. It's cleared away for Son to pick up.
Partey again it was. He's played a big role defending our box here this afternoon, Thomas Partey. Lots of big headers.
Son right-hand side, forward to aim at, in and around the penalty area. Controls, plays it back for Sarr. Now Van de Ven. Henry Udogie. Werner, first time, looks for the run of Pedro Porro, but it's cleared away. Sarr tries to thread it to the edge of the penalty area, but Nwaneri has it and does well, and Havertz could be in, but I think he's offside, and he is offside.
Yeah, it was a good situation. Kai Havertz, okay, yeah, hopefully. Yeah, Nwaneri sort of looked and didn't play the pass first time because he was offside. He tried to get back into an onside position, Havertz, but never quite managed it, and the breakaway was off. Here comes Spurs again.
Pedro Porro delivers inside the area, and the header from Romero is straight into the arms of David Raya.
Yeah. Is he staying up front here?
Yeah, I just wondered why he was there. Well, it'd be sort of typical Postecoglou to a certain extent, wouldn't it, you know?
It would, yeah. Look, just got to manage the game now. Just quieten it down if we can. Keep it. Try and get the ball into Tottenham territory and pin them in, because you don't want to be having to withstand a barrage last 5-10 minutes here.
Timber defensive header, and then battles to win it. Does really well. And now it's with Nwaneri.
Well played.
Sterling may be offside. The flag is stayed down for now. It's still Raheem Sterling here. Edge of the area, inside the box, still going forward, runs into trouble. Romero flicks it away. The flag was up anyway.
Needed to pull the trigger, yeah, it wouldn't have counted. But I think he needed to curl that far post there, Raheem Sterling. Spurs stretchers.
This is Kulusevski. Curled in towards Romero. It looks like he has stayed forward. Was that Romero? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Gabriel again with a clearance. Loads and loads of those today. See if I can have a look at how many. Plenty.
Curled in by Kulusevski. Easily dealt with Gabriel. Sarr. Pedro Porro. Arsenal defending deep and in numbers. Van de Ven. Udogie, Werner left-hand side. White looking to try and nick the ball away from Timo Werner. Werner does well against White, though, and just get the cross in, but David Raya is there.
Yeah, good claim. Yeah, five clearances for Gabriel. I think that might have been 6. Thomas Partey's made 4. Kai Havertz 4. Going to aerial duels 1. Kai Havertz 6 in the game.
It's incredible. I mean, he's such a good defensive player.
Yeah.
We are into added on time. The ball didn't quite go up where we could see it. Couldn't quite hear the PA. But we are into added on time here. 5 added. Thought we might get a little bit more than that, but I'll take 5.
Yep.
Saliba.
Not unhappy about that.
No.
Ranieri getting lots of touches, which is good to see.
Ranieri.
Just keep it. That's it. Keep it, boys.
Partey will lose his out. Son with a flick.
No need for Partey to go and join in there. Inside Tottenham territory. Now we're stretched.
Odegaard. Pedro Porro on the overlap. Odegaard turns away from Jorginho. Now it's with Kulusevski to Cowan! That was close. Good strike. Just wide.
Yeah, it's a thunderbolt. He wraps his left boot around it. It's got curl. It beats Raya, for sure. It beats him for pace. But it doesn't go underneath the crossbar. It just goes above it. And we can breathe again. But, yeah, it's about being compact. One last touch now. And Gabriel is absolutely the man of the match here, no matter what the outcome. It's been tremendous.
Yeah, well, not the goal glut that we expect from this fixture. Usually goals galore. Just the one, but it's gone to Arsenal, which will take all day long. We've just got to manage the situation from here on in to make sure of the success. Don't allow Spurs to have that one final say in the fixture. Odegaard against Timber here, gets inside the penalty area, whips in across, it's too close to Raya. Easy for the keeper.
Yep. Look, he's had a lot of 1v1s to deal with second half, hasn't he, Urian Timber? There's a lot of protection. Game's got a bit stretched down that side, but fortunately the end product from Tottenham hasn't been the best.
Arsenal punt it long. Oh, I think Havertz got a bit of a whack there. Surely the referee's got to stop this because it's a head injury. Yeah, just a bit awkward. We've restarted.
Yeah.
Sa. If it's David Raya to clear. So we'll knock it back, and then Jorginho to clear once again. Here is Vicario. Oh, he's given that one away, and it's gone straight to Jesus on the left-hand side. It's still Gabby Jesus, runs into trouble in the shape of Timo Werner. And Spurs will come forward. Still has possession. Now it's with Romero, nearly forgets to take the ball with him on the edge of the penalty area. He does play it back here for Odegaard. Gets the shot away, takes a deflection, could have gone anywhere. Does it go out for a corner or does it hit a Spurs player? The flag is up anyway.
When that ball deflects, yeah, it deflects off an offside Spurs player. It's Werner, isn't it? I thought I was ending up in the back of the net, but I mean, it wouldn't have counted anyway. And look, what are we in the 94th minute? Come on, let's just see this through now, lads. What a win this will be. What a win against the odds. Depleted without 2 star players. To come here and grind out a 1-0 will be such a lift for the team, for the fans, for the manager, especially ahead of City away next week. This double header was going to test us.
Well, off the back of the international break, off the back of that, draw against Brighton, and it's a tough situation for Arteta, but he's, tweaked the team. He's got the game plan. It's similar to last year, very different game to last year here, where we saw 5 goals, and Arsenal, of course, streaking into a big lead before Spurs came back at us. Different type of scoreline and game. Not over yet. We are nearly up in terms of the 5 minutes. Pedro Porro to curl in. Cleared away. Spurs have it again. This is Sarr. And now it's Son. Made a bit of space for himself. Still going. Good block. Maneri in the way.
Brilliant from Waneri.
Odegaard. Moving from right to left. We're beyond the 5 minutes now.
Come on, ref.
Werner towards Kulusevski, who was barging his way into that. But that is the full-time whistle, and it's a huge win for Arsenal at Tottenham. 3 consecutive league victories away in the North London derby for the first time since the late 80s. Gabriel coming good with a bullet header from close range from Saka's corner. The Gunners rode their luck, yes, but also created chances to score more than the one that they did. But the one that they did score was enough to push the Gunners up into second in the table. And this difficult run that starts with this emotional game kicks off with a victory. It is massive for Arsenal. And North London, well, it's black for the day to a certain extent, because the kit that we were made to play in is not the usual red and white. But Arsenal retain North London bragging rights, and world over, it is Arsenal fans who will be celebrating long into the evening. Not easy today, AD. It was a bit of a grind, but the Gunners good enough, a depleted side, as you say. But Mikel Arteta tweaked his lineup, and those that play today have managed to secure a vital big 1-0 win.
Yeah, they fought like lions, didn't they? They were really, really spirited, Arsenal. It was back to the wall stuff for long periods. It wasn't easy. You had to show great temperament, great resilience, great teamwork. But they held their nerve and they held firm, Arsenal. And when they had a chance at the other end of the pitch, a big chance for a set piece, they made it count. And this was a really big away performance, really strong from Arsenal. Without Rice, without Odegaard, everyone was saying Spurs had a great chance to upset the odds. Well, they didn't.